yesterday talking about how this stock feels like it's just not getting the respect it deserves, and now it's absolutely getting smoked. 3.5% on effectively nothing that I can see. I'll keep digging on Boeing, because this one, the 200-period moving average, there was already a buyer post-report. It's past 11 o'clock. We'll come back probably a little bit early. It's a Fed day today.
1:40.
I know that, yeah, usually 1:45. Like, they're not going to move rates, but we still come early. And then remember, after the bell tonight, you're going to have all the hyperscalers, most of the hyperscalers reporting. So it's going to be a busy afternoon. We've got the midday. We've got some Thai food, which I think
it'll
will
be
be
good.
enjoyable.
It'll be good.
Last time it was pretty delicious, so we'll knock on wood there. I'll see you back at 12 for the lesson. Potentially maybe some Pershing Square as an IPO. That'll open up a lot lower than the indicated issue price. So we'll join you guys back at 1:45. Till then, it's time for the Professor and Joey options.
Do you, though?
I do need an explanation. What is Intel doing? Boom! Greetings and salutations. Beautiful people, welcome to the midday show. Joey Moneybags?
No, man, that's the
Joey
green
Moneybag.
heart.
Nah,
the
man.
heart,
This is
man.
money. This is money right here. Yeah. Korean heart, says Assassino. You're probably right. I think this could be.
That's not even me. They're saying that I'm in all those positions. That's
You're in all those positions. Yeah, I'm short SMCI. No, that's Neil's position. He's long SMCI, pardon me. What's going on, everybody? Let's say hello to everybody, because YouTube's taking their sweet time to bring everybody over. We got the OG Darwin, Adam DeLuce, back from, as they say in England, holiday. We don't say that here. We say vacation. Shout out to my man, Adam. We got Other Zinc. Shout out to Jay Coingy, Mr. Leahy. All right, now everybody's coming in. Jacques, my man from Prague. Mike, PD Rider, Angry Wife, Oslam, Hollywood. We got Brown Lightning and Trig Trades, Christmas, Ronaldo, Evan knows. Shout out to Pitch Bull and Chrome, Taylor Batty. Come on, new names only. Let's go. Stock Ed, I see you, Stock Ed. Trust Fund, Baby, Smoked. I like that one, Smoked. Yeah. And then Luis, all the way from the beautiful city of Barcelona. We will have Luis on today at 1, so make sure you check that out. Ronaldo, I know Arsenal's playing. I'm missing the gym in the afternoon, specifically to go home and watch Arsenal lose at home to Atletico Madrid. Kidding, semifinals, Champions League, that's a big one. We got Yahoo Tube. Shout out to James Cook, man. We got Nero. Hours are the 6. Hello, right back at you. Green Day, Dean, and Jaguar Nut. Shout out to Daryl, Mr. Raj. One more, Joey.
Yeah.
Clipboard. I lied. Ocheri. Good morning to you, brother.
What's up? What's up, Southern Smoke? We got to give a shout out to our good folks over there at TikTok. Yeah, thank you bravely for putting that in. We got Steven Jackson once again, Mobstar33. Anna, what's going on? It's Eli. Yo, what's up? It's Eli. I like those style of names. Who else do we got? A couple more here. Talent, T-Rock. I've seen you in the chat multiple times there. Lando News, Bull Run. What's going on? Sugar-free vibe. Hey.
I know you're about that life,
I'm all about that life. Jake, what's up, man? You got to keep that sugar limited. All right, be good. Simrat, Amir, BMAC, ESC, Jose Mendez. Seen you in there. Will Augusto, Larry, love and hope. That's what it's all about. Boom. All right, bang. There it is, guys. I hope everyone's having a fantastic weekend.
Can we reset the position?
Yeah, but let's get that position board reset. Here we go. The market starting to scream a little bit higher. Google, Amazon, But Tesla not participating here, guys. Hood, oh man, this stock, no love for the fintech names here today, guys. As you can see, that SOFI bouncing off the lows. We have Robinhood, Tesla, IBIT, TQQs, and the SPY on our radar. Multiple other things that we can go over here momentarily, but you know that we're going to keep an eye on the NASDAQ as the overall market was continuing to climb, being led by the likes of, you guessed it, Google putting in a new all-time high and Amazon putting in a strong session. So some good momentum there. Sharif, I figured what was going on with my platform and why I couldn't, the overlapping. I had the pin button on it.
You had the pin button?
The pin.
And ChatGPT didn't tell you to remove the pin?
No, it didn't tell me.
What an excellent LLM. Excellent. They're going to definitely open up at $1 trillion.
To be honest with you. Yeah. Nonetheless, guys, let's hop into some of the options activity here today and let's see what the overall market's got going on. Maybe we should do that from Shreeves tells you about it in the morning. We're going to hop in right around that 11 o'clock hour, and then we're going to take a look at the Qs and the SPY for some 0 DTE action.
Jackson.
Yeah, exactly. Action Jackson. All right, guys, 665 is where we're going to see a lot of the size. Where's the most amount of volume really starting to step in? That's with these in-the-money contracts, all right? So 0 DTE, don't forget about that, guys. Crazy fluctuation. You're going to have an elevated delta and elevated gamma as you run into as you get closer to the expiration. You can see how high it is. Greatest at the money. Don't forget that. The further you get away from that central pivot, the at the money, the less your gamma is going to have an effect. So there's a lot of activity going there on the Qs. Now, as for the SPY, how are we looking over here, guys?
Got it, Joey.
Can we pull it up? Yes, we can. All right, 718, that $718 mark with 22,400 contracts still currently open. Oh my. And then we have about 9,700 open and closed. But from a volume standpoint, we're getting the most at 713. Where was our high today? 712.21. So not too far off of that. Let's see how these at the money contracts. Oh, sorry, I'm going to eat those words quick.
What happened?
712 was actually the most amount of volume that kicked in on the SPY. We had a intraday high of 712.19. So not too bad of a look. 711. Shout out to that's what I know they're like this.
Can I say something? The 7-Eleven across the road is kind of like trash. Like, why is it so empty? That 7-Eleven, the Katina man says, was used for them to film. Go ahead, Adair.
I was going to say, that's actually an incredibly nice 7-Eleven compared to many that I've seen in Winnipeg and many crimes I've witnessed occur in Sev. So I have to say, like, not a bad Sev.
Yeah, I mean,
well, I don't think Winnipeg should be the gold standard, but
the 7 isn't like a Circle K. You know what I mean? You run into.
Oh, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Like, there are high levels of convenience stores.
Yeah, you didn't know that? You didn't know
Go ahead, see ya.
There's levels to everything.
Had one 7-Eleven that closed recently near the College intersection, College and Young. That was the most horrible.
Oh, that was yeah.
Scary. We stayed away from it. Yeah.
Yeah, the one at like Queen there in University, the Queen in University or Queen in Young or something like that. Yeah, no, brother, come on, man.
I'm sorry, Joey. I'm just comparing it to the other convenience stores.
Like most things in life, there's levels to the game.
That's actually very accurate.
Right?
That's very accurate. Yeah. All right, Joey, let's get down to work. First and foremost, we have a super here. Thank you very much to SK Trader 1, $5 super chat. Very good question. SK Trader, I responded to you because your question is a little bit incomplete. But it reads as follows. Tried buying HTCO, a big mover yesterday that we were trading, through E-Trade at $28. They refused the order, but would sell it at $50. They refused to explain why. So I asked you in the chat, I'm like, explain a bit more. What type of order? I wrote time, but I meant type, sorry. What type of order did you use? Market, limit, marketable limit? Or did you use a market on open order, limit on open? What kind of order? I need to know. And what time was the order? Was it pre? Was it post, etc.? What was the error message specifically given to you by E-Trade? You don't need to super chat again. Just tag me so that Joey and I can kind of look into it a little bit for you and give you a cleaner answer there. And thank you very much for the super chat. Always, we do appreciate it. Guys, let's get right down to work because we already have a halter. All right? So this is a big boy here. RDAC, RDAC, all right? And this one is halted at 1347. It is up 174.9%, having done only 4.25 million shares on the day. And I'm assuming because, well, it's probably a multiple halter. Let's take a gander here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 halts. 2 down, 4 up. So obviously we're halted at the high of the day, 1347, just shy of the $0.50. Let's zoom out. Let's see on the 4-hour chart where to expect resistance. Look at that. Back on, I should say. New Year's Eve, man. That was literally New Year's Eve. December 31st of last year. We tailed into 1450. I do expect there to be resistance at around that level, at least initially. I'm not saying it won't be able to break through it. There's 1450. That takes us back to New Year's Eve, but you can see here very clearly in, I want to say, 18th or 19th of December, we got into about 18. So we are coming from some highs, and there's no split here. So there was no reverse split. There was nothing. This is all organic. So RDAC should be in focus here for the small cap gapper inclined. However, I'm taking a quick look right now, and I can't quite see what the spread is because it's halted. So right now we're seeing a tap of $14 upon resumption. 11:02:21 is this one halted. It's already 11:10. So by default, we know minimum halt time is going to be 10 minutes. It won't be 5. So the earliest this one will be open is 11:12:21. Let's take a quick look to see what else we're looking at over here because we still have a couple of minutes. So RDAC, the best of the bunch right now. However, there are others. I'm liking the look of XTLB's jib. All right, I feel there's a flat top brewing here, not on a straight basis. You can see where the wicks go, 454 high a day. But look at the prints. Almost all of them close below $4. It can't seem to shake the sellers at 4, at least not on a decisive closing basis, and certainly not on the 5. So this one I like because it's got that higher low, higher low, higher low kind of setup with that flat top. If I had an animation for flat top break, I'd be hitting it. Last, we don't. So this one needs to be in focus. Now, my suggestion to you is try to pick it up on the lower end of the higher low range. What do I mean by that? Well, take a look where this one is finding support, 390, 380. That's where you should be getting in, right? So that you're not taking a false breakout because believe you and me, there's been plenty. Look how many times it's breached through 4 on a wick basis and then immediately lost it. Right? So that's what you got to be thinking here. I got to pick it up towards the lower end of the higher low range for hopefully a flat top break. So that's XTLB. There are others. MXL. MXL is a repeat offender. It's been locked up before, 61.89. And there it goes into 62. Not a big percentage-wise, 18.5%, not bad. But look at the respect this one has for the 10 EMA. Nary a breach, and certainly not a breach on a closing basis, just a couple of wicks here and there. So MXL. Also setting up quite well. You have EXTR. Yeah, okay. It's not bad, 21%, you know. Looks like maybe the best trade is behind this one. Stair stepping up. We'll have to wait and see. These aren't my favorite setups. AIXI is losing the bid. It's got to get back above VWAP for me to be interested. Oh, RDAC just ripped up into 1535. That breaches the December 31st high. RDAC on its horse here, trying to take out 15 decisively, and here it comes again. Halt level for RDAC. The halt up is 1345, 1350. Watch for support either at 14 or 1350. Let's see if that halt level holds. Joey, go.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Strobe, that was creative. How long did that take you to make? It's quite a serious question, but obviously we can't be putting that stuff in the chat. But nonetheless, very, very creative. I don't think I've ever seen that one before. So we'll give credit where credit is due around these neck of the woods, Sharif. Now, as for the overall market, guys, starting to come back in. We are now south of VWAP. Robinhood putting in a base, and I mean, I was talking with Adair earlier this morning, not too long ago, actually, just the fact that it's like, I've been sitting in this SOFI trade literally all morning looking for somewhat of a breakup. We're down 13%. If it cracks the lows, then we just get out of that, slowly building into this position. How many tests are we going to get? Is there some form of wall here at $16? It seems to be the narrative so far. So we have to be prepared, but it's just not breaking through. So I have no reason to get out of it. Somewhat of recovery. We do have higher lows on this 5-minute trend, but you can see that we do have lower highs, right? So price is really starting to compress. Now it's just a matter of which direction. Are we going to be in favor of the right one? Only time will tell. And that's exactly why we sit in these things. Katie Damster, don't worry about it at all, my friend. Plenty of time. Tesla long, just dipping my toes, says Joff 5304. Yeah, I mean, there's
like
nothing
dipping my toe every now and again, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. Same here. I mean, that's what you have to do, right? Like, we talked about the names like Intel and everything along those lines. What are we, like, how do you get these extended moves? Well, just like the Robinhoods, I know a lot of people are liking that name, but unfortunately, in my opinion, you have to start buying them when they're really damaged and there's blood in the street, and then sure enough, that's when you can kind of catch the whole move. I mean, otherwise you're sitting on the sidelines. You can get it at some point, but if you really want to participate in that extended front, then I think you have to start getting involved when not everybody really likes it, and I think that's been the nature and the narrative of the market for quite some time. When there's blood in the street, there's someone buying on the other side. So I think you just got to stick with that narrative, to be honest with you, especially with good names, right? Like, you don't want to be buying Carl on the way down, in my opinion anyways.
Oh,
there's obviously...
Got fired.
Well, I mean, it is what it is, right? Fair enough. But that's how it is, right? If you're looking to buy good names on the way down, then I think that's somewhat of a good strategy.
All right. There goes RDAC. We took 15. South of 15. We took 14 something. Into 16, it is, well, south of 16 to be fair. It is a $16 on the dot high of day. We're back in here looking for a continuation through 16. There's 1577 looking for a bigger move here. Let's see what 16 has to offer us. And there's 16. Let's wet the beak a little bit there. There goes 16 Joseph frickin' options, but we didn't catch it. We didn't catch the bid, so that's a problem there. All right, look, yeah, we got 1632 high. We didn't quite take the fill above that level because we were a little slow on the keys, but RDAC right now is absolutely ripping up. It's got a bit of a seller here locally in the 70s. Here comes the 80s again, looking for a bigger move into 16. I think below 1550, I end the trade. Let's see if exactly we hold up above the $0.50. Second attempt at this, there's a $0.50. We'll give back a little bit there as it does fail right back down into 15 and a third. Let's watch 15. Does 15 hold locally? If it does, we can take this one back into 16, 1632 high. So keeping a close eye here on RDAC, see what this one has to offer us. There seems to be a lot of buying at this level. It doesn't look like it's given up the ghost quite yet, but this candle is quite indecisive. It is a doji candle, and right now it is red for now. I see the super chat by you, SK Trader 1. I'm going to answer that as soon as we get back from Adair.
Keep an eye on USO, guys. Hanging out near intraday highs. IFX reporting that there was an open fire at Russia's Tuapse oil refinery. It has been extinguished, so keep an eye here. I guess this open fire occurred at a Russian oil refinery. Again, it's been extinguished, but either way here, USO and some of these oil plays potentially on watch with that in mind. Back to you.
There it goes through the high of the day again, Joey Opsh. There we go. Good trades here on RDAC. Not a bad look. Let's see if we can get a little bit more. A little ziggy-zaggy. It's not ripping up, but here it comes. Again, 1650 in view, 1661. This one is really going, guys. 237%. I feel like I should be focusing on this one. Here's the halt. We're going to halt 1668. This is the halt, guys. We need about 5 or 6 seconds more at this level. RDAC is all sorts of strong, up 240%, and is now halted $16.68, 11:17:30. That gives me an opportunity now to look at the order. Market order, says SK Trader 1, about 10 a.m., so regular market hours. Market order, okay, error was not taking opening orders for the security. Called them, they said no error, but can't say why. I guess E-Trade is a dark pool. I don't know if E-Trade has dark pools. I mean, I personally don't see dark pool prints on my IB charts. Neither does Joey. We certainly see them on our P8 charts, the white ones on the screen, especially on the larger cap names. You don't really see dark pools on the small cap gappers, though. A little bit rare. Do you think it has something to do with the market order on that? I don't really know why. And they don't know why either. I guess you called them and... So my thinking was it had something to do with the pre-market. That's obviously not the case. You use the market order. I wonder if it has something to do with not taking opening orders for this security. Oh, so I guess, did they block it? They weren't taking opening orders 10 a.m. So perhaps maybe the first hour, the implied balance open, was prohibited for that stock by E-Trade. If they can't tell you, and with the information you just gave me there, I can't tell you either, to be honest with you, SK Trader. That sucks, obviously, but I've seen that happen before multiple times. Remember GameStop and all that stuff? Jennifer Moretta, 4775, dropping 2 in the chat. Joey, she says, heard Winnipeg.
Oh.
I assumed you guys in Toronto. Oh, yes, we are. We are in Toronto, yes, absolutely.
Correctly.
But, you know, we show love for Winnipeg because Winnipeg is a great Canadian city.
Yeah, I've never been there, so I mean.
Neither have I.
Yeah, for sure. So,
we're not going to smack talk Canadian cities.
No, we won't do that. We'll.
So we have to refer.
No, yeah. I mean, there's one we're not going to mention it, but.
Which one, Joey?
I'm not going to mention it, man.
Hamilton? Brampton?
No, it's not in this province.
He's gone. Okay, good. We can say Brampton.
Brampton. Bang. No, they're all great cities. My friend was actually asking me, he's like, hey, man, I'm going to see some individual in Montreal.
No, you're from Brampton.
So listen, anyways, I have this American friend, right?
Go ahead.
They don't really, they're kind of confused. He's like, hey, man, I'm going to Montreal in June to go watch this artist. He's like, how far are you, man? I'm like, brother, it's not really that close. He's like, how close are you?
5.5 hours.
Yeah, it's like 6 hours, but that's not close. It's not just like a stone's throw away, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's a little far,
Where's he from?
He lives in Vegas.
Okay, so yeah, maybe a halfway thing, like Ottawa or Kingston, something like that.
What do you mean halfway?
Like you can meet him halfway?
Oh, I'm not going
If you meet me halfway.
All right,
Get
good
it, Joey.
stuff, man. Yeah, all right. 4-hour drive. Okay, at Ram speed for sure, man. Which artist, Joe? I forget the name.
She's such a menace to society.
Yeah,
I can just imagine her on the road, all 4'5" of her.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like just ripping with their truck.
in the red truck, yeah, exactly. No, nonetheless, guys, we're still sitting in this trade. Prices really starting to compress. We get a bounce off of the lows here in Robinhood from 70.64. Now we're starting to climb back into towards the volume-weighted average price. A nice bounce here in Tesla, right? So Tesla's starting to find its ground, but with the overall market, the SPY that is hovering below VWAP and a key support level around that 709.96 level coming into play and bouncing off it at multiple occasions. But what we do have is a trend line break. You come back, you retrace. Now, what are the larger participants doing, i.e. the Googles of the world and the Amazons? If they're continuing to climb, then it might show some strength within the NASDAQ, but you can see that we're starting to pull back here on Google. Amazon, probably around the same neck of the woods. Yep, coming off those highs, 266. You're opening up around 258, so that's already a big-time move. Amazon and Google looking really good. How has Meta been performing on today's session? Still hovering around the volume-weighted average price, but recovering that sell-off from the opening drive. Not too bad of a look there, guys. Man, this trade is just absolutely not doing anything here in SoFi. Down 13%. We've been in this since 944 until it breaks that low, which I'm having the hunch that it's going to, just consolidating, accumulating before you take that additional leg lower. I thought we'd see a little bit more of a recovery. Doesn't seem to be the case so far, but nonetheless, we'll sit in this position until proven otherwise. I mean, a break above the volume-weighted average price into this resistance zone is an ideal target for me. 16.59. That's where we're going to try to hold some, and I've just been slowly grabbing some more shares every time we just move higher. Not DCAing in, but just essentially getting in where I think we can break through the resistance zones, considering we're bouncing off of the lows on multiple occasions. So yeah, we'll be patient. We'll sit in this for a little bit longer. The market's starting to find its way once again, heading back towards that pre-market high, and then the SPY just slightly below VWAP. Meta starting to climb higher. Robinhood, I think this is just an accumulation before it takes an additional leg lower, but who knows? A lot of people liking it just due to the fact that the PD2 rule can bring additional investment and traders in, so that's more volume, uplifting essentially the transaction limit that you can do with in regards to PDT, and now you can just trade freely. So yeah, I'm liking it. It's not hot right now, but I think the narrative might change in a couple of months.
We're halted down, Joey.
Oh.
On RDAC. So this one's been, zigging and zagging. There's been more up halts than down halts, but this is, I believe, the third down halt. We're halted exactly at 14:47. So the last halt was 5 minutes. It didn't end up being 10 like the one prior. Halt time, 11:22:50. The earliest will be open, 11:27:50. Could be another 10. We're still holding, I think, good technical support, especially into 14. I'd like to see that $13.50 to $14 level hold. And the reason is quite simple. So let me just zoom in here, sorry. There we go. So this bar here, the one that we opened from the up halt from, the 1110 bar, the low of that bar is essentially 14, give or take, right? But the halt level, the level that we opened up from, 1350. That 1350 level also happens to be the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. So a bit of a double whammy when you're looking for support there. So I need 1350 to hold. I'm looking for support initially, though, at 14, at that whole dollar level. Whether it holds up there or 1350, time will tell. We're packed to patience. We'll see. We'll see if we can execute on RDAC again. But as you see there on the position board, I've now worked in to XTLB. I have a bias that this is putting in a bit of an ascending wedge, or what we lovingly call a flat top break. I'm in at 97. It's showing me 96, but as you can see there on the screen with that aqua line, teal, whatever it is, I'm looking for a dip trade. I'm looking for 82s. 82s, by definition, is higher than the volume weighted average price, but it breaches current bar low as well as prior bar low. However, the bar at 1110 did find support at VWAP, which happens to be 82. So I'm keeping a close eye here on XTLB. My 1R on XTLB is 420. I happen to like that number. So we'll see if we can kind of weasel up into that 420 area. Ideally, I get filled into 82s and then it rockets up. But here comes $4 again. I don't expect this one to be an easy resolution of 4, especially on a closing basis. As we've seen, there's a very, very convicted short seller and or profit taker who keeps pushing this one below $4, nary a closing print on the 5, above $4, pardon me. So keeping a close eye on that. Yeah, I answered that one, Assassino. I looked at it and I answered it. It's fine. I mean, SKT Trader 01, I'm really sorry, couldn't give you more information on that, but it feels as if, though, that they were preventing their users or their subscribers, their whatever members, from taking the opening order on that. Sometimes, at least my understanding is, the implied balance open is essentially about an hour from 9:30 to 10:30. So maybe they just blocked you for that initial hour when there was a lot of volatility for that name. I mean, I personally don't like to be babysat by my brokerage. It's my money. And I want it now. You remember that commercial? It's my money and I want it now. No, seriously though. Sometimes they do that. It's kind of a little out of our hands there, guys. All right, continue.
Unfortunately, some people do need to be babysat, but not everyone.
Yeah, how do you make the decision who needs and who doesn't? I mean,
that's
you know what, bro? Like, when you're a grown adult, I was about to say something different.
Yeah, you gotta, yeah.
Oh, Joey, that's all you right there, buddy.
Oh, let's go. All right. Let's go, man. Big Rudy Smasher. All right. Oh, is that that burger joint? Joe bought Google fractions yesterday, up $1.50. Thank you. All right, there you go, man. I mean, we like it, man. Spent $2 on the super chat, up $1.50 nicely on that one. So shout out Big W for Big Rudy. Yeah, man. Congratulations. As I typically say, Shreve, don't spend it all in one place.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna have a hard time with that one, anyway. So yeah, exactly.
Oh no.
Hold on.
I love this guy. He was messaging me in the morning. I'm like, yo, pop in. Of course you can show it.
No, we got to read it first.
No. We're going to show it, Joey. Big smile, Burdette, dropping 20 in the chat. The Katina man was asking about you, Big Smile, the other day. He's like, where's he at, man? I'm like, he's good, right? He's all right. Sharif, hit the fake news. I heard LJS, the Timo Pitbull, the Welcher of all bets, claim he had a friend, albeit not one worth the driving to see. I hear others using the big moniker. Remember, there can only be one. I tell them all the time, Big Spile. I'm like, if Big Spile was here and he saw that fact that you're using the big moniker, whoever was using it, I'm like, he'd fight you for that. So
I already told you my game plan with Big Smile.
What are you gonna do?
You run circles around him for a little bit.
That's mean.
An entire
that, bro. You never know, man. You never know. He might be. He's dropping a lot of weight, eh?
That's good for him.
Yeah, man. He's been killing it. That's my man.
What's up,
That's the Big Smile, Burdette. We miss you, brother. Hope you're having a great time. He sent me a picture of the family gang today.
That's good.
All 4 of them. His eldest daughter looks a lot like him.
Oh, really?
A lot. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man. Congratulations.
Shout out to my man, Big Smile.
On the squad there, Big Smile. He's probably got a 12er in at least, or a 10 MG, maybe even a 20. Let me know what you guys said. No, I never said that, Notorious. Anyways, nonetheless, guys, we're still sitting in slowly upticking. Price really starting to compress here. Can we break through this resistance zone and head in towards that level of 1659, which I was referring to not too long ago in SOFI? There is a key level right here that we got to keep an eye out on, 55s. So, I mean, if we do have the ability and we're fortunate enough to get that climb higher, then we'll slowly start to piece it out. Primary target, we're looking at roughly this 60, 70 mark, but it may not come into play. All right, but see, we can see on the tape here, guys, a lot of mixed action and inside activity, so we got to keep that in mind. We have a couple more super chats that we'll go over. If you get a chance, would it be cool if you guys went around the horn and shared
that'd be cool.
what first got you interested in market and trading and how you ended up on Trader TV? Yeah, we can definitely do that.
I think we all have cool stories about that.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, we're sitting in this SOFI trade. I don't have too much going on right now. Bitcoin continuing its slide here on the 5-minute, a nice recovery here in Meta, the overall market. But nonetheless, we can definitely hop into that if you want to give a quick rundown and how you ended up where you currently are right now. Sure.
So I started watching the show during the pandemic because, you know, there was really nothing to do at home. So I'm like, I'm going to trade, right? Started trading. Then, you know, you want to start seeing how the professionals are doing it. Super simple. Went to YouTube, typed in day trading or live trading. Don't remember exactly what the search term that I used was, but all of a sudden the Katina Man came up, and I remember specifically what you were trading. You were trading NEO, and it was $30-something, and you were up big on it. I'll never forget that. And I saw the Katina Man, saw the Neil, saw Brendo. There used to be Miss V at the time. Shout out to Valeria. The OGs in the chat will remember. And all of a sudden, they started putting out job ads out there. Hey, we're looking for traders. I'm like, I'm going to go on the floor. This is fantastic, right? Come into the floor. I sat right behind the Katina Man, right, strategically, by the way, right behind the boys so that, you know, you can get to know them a little bit. And, well, that's exactly what happened. Then the Katina Man came up to me a couple of months later. I had made it clear to him that I found it an honor to be on the show. He came up to me later when one of the other temporary hosts was gone. He's like, listen, do you want to be on the show? One thing, though, you're going to have to wear a shirt, no cutoffs. Because I was like coming into the office in my basketball jerseys and my soccer jerseys. I'm like, okay, there's no dress code. I want to be comfortable. It's trading, whatever, right? And so obviously the rest is history. I started per diem on there, started doing an hour on the midday or an hour and a half. It was with Pradley at the time. And then, you know, it shifted. I became full-time. Then, you know, just like you, went per diem into contract.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, it all started with me, I believe, in 2021, where I was like, all right, got interested in stuff. And then, sure enough, I talk about the time that I was trading some weed stock. So anyways, I had a bunch of friends from high school. They invited me into this group. Anyways, let's go to Adara. We'll get back to this.
I'm going to start quickly with oil because that's really why I wanted to come to you guys right now. USO at intraday highs, getting comments from the parliamentary speaker of Iran, who goes by the name of Ghalibaf. He's speaking right now to Iranian state media, saying that President Trump is pressuring Iran to surrender via economic pressure. Again, nothing we didn't already know, more or less, but USO is pushing higher. Again, heading into the Fed decision at 2 p.m., so just be aware. Comments coming through from Ghalibaf. Now let's talk crypto. Excuse me, BTC on watch. We know Bitcoin actually initially to the upside earlier to start the day, even with that decline in Robinhood. Robinhood reported its second straight quarter of significant year-over-year declines in that crypto trading revenue. Last quarter down by just over 50%. This quarter, year-over-year crypto trading revenue down by 47%. Bitcoin right now poised for its third straight red session, despite, again, as I mentioned, a push to the upside earlier. As of earlier today, like session highs just under 78,000 as of right now, trying to hold on to that 76K level. Yesterday's low was 75.6. We've got a little bit while to go there, but either way, Bitcoin, that double top just below 80,000 continues to form. Back to you.
Figuring out how old it is.
Joey, I think I'm going to get out of XTLB. It's starting to change its tune a little bit here. So it was, you know, easily breaching through 4. I'm going to flatten out here. It was easily breaching through 4 on a wick basis only, and now it's really having trouble. There it goes. A big drop there. Let's see if it fails VWAP. So it just found support at VWAP. Yeah, so the reason I got out is because clearly the seller, who was obviously very convicted in their position above 4, started shorting at or below 4. And quite frankly, he's stronger than us right now, so I'm out. All right, RDAC open after a 10-minute halt, and here it is. It holds generally 13.5. It did breach it on a wick basis, but right back above it goes. So I'm watching here for possible support in and around 14, but it is losing the bid, and now it is about to breach 13.5, showing up here, 13.41. Let's see if this one drops down into 13 or reclaims that $14 level. So a lot of weakness here in RDAC locally. So let me give you the technicals on RDAC. Current bar low 1320, current bar high 1476. Nothing for me to do here. We need to either take out 15 or we need to lose 13. So that's the look. And I've said very little, probably much to my detriment, but it is a little expensive. MXL is ripping up, man. We started looking at this one at around $61. It is at $65.36. It's not a big percentage-wise. It's up 25%, but look at the cleanliness of this higher low, basically respect for the 10 EMA pattern. So MXL needs to be in focus here, guys. Also, shout out to the trader there in the chat who pointed this one out for me. Shout out to my man Crypto Banks. Crypto Banks pointing out PAPL. But as you can see, we were looking at PAPL on Monday. PAPL did nothing yesterday, very consolidative day. But that's not bad for these small cap gappers. Typically, and you'll hear Luis say this today, most of them will close red on the day they break out, and then even more of them will go red day 2. This one didn't. This one held essentially Monday's closing print and then is rocketing up again today, up 28% and change. So PAPL needs to be in focus here, as well as MXL. They're all looking real good, quite frankly. XTLB, RDAC, they were the big movers, but I haven't really had success with XTLB. If it loses, VWAP probably is going to lose its spot on my side chart. We're going to keep a close eye on that. Joey and I have to pause for a second. We're sending you up to Adara with news.
All eyes here on AAOI. This is Applied Optoelectronics. We've got reports here that Governor Greg Abbott of Texas has announced a semiconductor innovation grant that's going to be going here to AAOI. So again, Applied Optoelectronics receiving a grant from the state of Texas. Back to you.
Yeah, I want to go over this one more time, even though Adara's going to be dropping some stuff. There's nothing wrong with looking at things on throughout the day. So Meta, we have reporting after the bell here, guys. A couple other of them of the larger cap names reporting. And then we can just see our expected move here within Google of around 5.5%. Meta, we just went over. Microsoft, this one as well, to 6.1%, so a high. I really like Amazon and Google right now. And that's another name that we're going to pull up, is that I like Amazon, 4.7% expected move. SOFI doesn't want to participate. It doesn't want to break up, right? So we're still holding on to this wedge. If it cracks, I'll sit into it, breaks the low of the day. But as soon as we break through this lower end of the range, it's just like, okay, it's time to find something else. You can see that Bitcoin continuing its slide here, but the NASDAQ continuing its climb. Who's leading the way? And I think it's going to be with a couple of names that we were just going over. I mean, we can run these essentially into the ground and talk about them all day. Nice hammer candle right there, right out of the gate, boom, off to the races it goes. And just an hour and a half of consecutive buying, you get that pullback, but then you see buyers step right back in. So yeah, SoFi, not it here today. That's all right. We'll find something else here to trade. I'm not worried about it. Bitcoin going to continue its slide. And NVDA, I haven't even been looking at some of the chips. I know a lot of people are saying short. Oh, NVDA not doing anything. So we're $5 off of that previous all-time high. I think it's going to be a good buy, in my opinion. How's AMD been performing on today? Straight up and to the right, now starting to get a pullback. I mean, out of the gate, sorry, it was selling a little bit, but then a strong recovery, breaking through the pre-market high, now coming back in towards VWAP. Poor Bitcoin. I was just looking up the age of Michael Saylor, because I'm just thinking, like, how much longer is this guy? I mean, he has until the end of his life, but if he wants to be issuing digital credit, he's definitely past his peak, and I don't know, I'm not one to spew on this or anything along those lines, but man, how much longer are you going to wait? Like, if you have multiple months, like where you're going like 6 to 8 months at a time where the underlying asset's not doing anything and there's very little interest within the actual asset class, then it's like, what are we actually even doing here? And I was thinking about that earlier this morning. I mean, I was sitting in the position since the beginning of the IBIT IPO. And it's just like, okay, you have that nice appreciation, but since then, that's like almost over 2 years ago at this point, it's done nothing. You've lost it. You're working at a negative value there, essentially. So, I mean, we talk about opportunity costs all the time, and I just think that's one of them. Bitcoin for now, I mean, you have to be patient and you have to be really precise on your entry. It's every 2 years, it seems, right? So you have to wait for the latter half of this halving cycle to really get involved, and maybe where you see those extended moves. But that middle range ground is just, it's really painstaking to just sit in there.
Can I say something, though?
Yeah.
It tips its hand, the price action on Bitcoin through that long consolidation. Think about what we did, at 20,000. Think about what we did at the 60s and the 70s. Your call? Like we would always have, let's look at the TA, man. Those long areas of consolidation. I don't know. I feel it tips its hand a little bit. Guys, MXL is just absolutely him right now. My goodness. 66.50. This thing's ripping up. But let's look at a little BTC here, Joey. Let's look at BTC on the daily and then zoom out a little bit. Guys, RDAC is going. I had another trade at this, got in at 14, got out 15. It's having trouble with 15, though. Here, it's above it now. It's looking good now. The bid is above 15. That was the problem before. The bid was staying below 15, and now it is ripping again. RDAC, pardon me, looking to clear 15.50. It's a 16.68 high of day. Be on the lookout here. It's making moves, okay? Let's zoom out. This is what I mean. Look at this, Joey. Look at this. Like, look at this from let's just say February of 2024, and then all the way to November of 2024. That's the better part of a year.
Yeah, man.
Long consolidations. It did it before, too. I mean, we can kind of go back and... Oh, embarrassing. Is this a double top from, COVID? Yeah. Even on the way down, though, to be quite fair, it does have long periods of consolidations on the way down, but I don't know. There it is. Long consolidation. Yeah.
Similar.
It's kind of just the
And if you put that, what is that, a monthly or
that's a daily?
Yeah, go to a monthly.
Yeah, I can go to the monthly there.
Let's just see.
All right. Wow, this goes to only July 19. Yeah. Long base, not as long, but you can see the consolidation
is that like shoulder
areas.
One, and then like bigger head, shoulder two potentially.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. Or it could just be a couple of bull flags, step up, right? Yeah, I see what you're saying there.
Yeah.
That could be an inverse head and shoulders, or a head and shoulders. Let's read out the super.
Yeah.
Jacob Savage. He's dropping 10 nice ones there in the chat. He's talking about small caps, and RDAC is ripping up again into 16.25. Man, I just got to buy and hold this thing, man. Forget about trying to scalp. This thing is absolutely ripping. Here's what he said. Started a small account challenge with $500 starting April 1st. What the absolute... Just crossed $40,000 in realized profits today. Shout out to my main squeeze, Adara. Also, Joe, you got to stop getting rage baited by... What did Neil, how did he rage bait Joseph? Yeah. Adara, anyway, you got love there in the chat from Jacob Savage. Good follow. But I'd like to see, how's Neil rage baiting you?
I don't know, man, but this guy must be one of the best traders out there. $500 to 40K.
That's amazing. That's like RC style right there.
Apparently,
right?
Yeah.
RC, he does his thing as well. Well, you never really know what he's trading, right? So, big difference. All right, shout out to you, my man. That's a great call out, or great, not call out, but great result by you. So shout out to
it's
Jacob.
Called YOLO, yeah, man.
What?
Someone said it's called YOLO. Yeah, you
YOLO.
have to, unfortunately.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Do what you got to do. 17.14 high of the day right now on RDAC. Here it comes again. Let's see if it can hold 16. Looking for dips into around 16. Not quite. $half buyer. Here come the dips into 6. There is a 16 dip. Looking for that. Let's see if it holds up at around here. We'll give this one the old community college try. What do we got? 16.40. Let's see if it can make its way back into 17 or what the situation is going to be. But that's what I'm watching right now, Joey. It looks like there's a seller locally here at around the $half.
Yeah, exactly. Stop. Jesse, that's crazy. That's crazy, bro. That's not true whatsoever, man. The old Canada moment, Sabres game. No, I didn't see that. But no seriousness. Let's see, man. We're just sitting in this trade. It's not doing too much. By all means, Bitcoin. We've been talking about that throughout the whole day. There's no need for us to essentially milk this stone. It's just steady down and to the right. It's not performing very well. SOFI, same thing, man. We've been in this thing since 9:44. No reason for me to get involved with anything else right now. I'm not in love with anything other than maybe getting involved in some some Google or something along those lines. We went over the options activity. We looked at the expected moves from today. Looking forward to some of those reports. So yeah, man, it's going to be a nice, relaxed one. Let's get a little bit of a move here on SOFI to the top side. I mean, if it is happening, I'm probably going to have to sit in this all day, but it's only a matter of time until it probably breaks down. So we'll be patient. We'll wait, and we'll find something at Dara.
Keep an eye here on USO pushing to new intraday highs. We have Israeli news channel News 12 reporting that President Trump will not be lifting the naval blockade without a deal that includes the nuclear program. Again, information that we more or less already knew, but USO does like this. Double topping here at a new intraday high. Back to you.
Thank you, Ben Affleck. Yeah, nonetheless, man. What, you see what Ben Affleck?
No, just the name.
His name is Ben Affleck. Yeah.
There goes RDAC, Joey. We got 10s. We just took out 70s. There could be some trouble here, guys. We're having trouble really closing above 50. Look how many times that bugger keeps selling at 50, bro. Let's go. Let's clear this level, trying to pack the patience here for either an uphold or a decisive breach of, there it goes. Nice. Into the high. Boom, 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 boom. Looking for breach of 17. There's 17, Joey. It's a 17-14 high a day. Oh, no. We took out the entire position. I'll just do it. Weak hands. Boo-boo there. I made a boo-boo. I didn't mean to take out the entire position. I was trying to ride into, there it goes. Oh, no. Oh no, 1778 high of day. It is absolutely ripping up. Oh my goodness, I screwed up here, but it's okay. We're still profitable on it, so nothing to complain now. Let's practice some gratitude. Just, definitely need to improve in my execution here because, could have definitely been a lot more in the money. 1778, that's wrong. It's $18 now, Joey. $18 high of day, looking for continuation. Now you get into 18, you start thinking 20, right? You're like, all right, well, it's gotta come into that that $10 level right around 20. So guys, my bias now is RDAC moseys on up into 20 bucks. How it does it, in what direction, and does it take a few detours along the way? We'll have to wait and see, but that's what I'm keeping my eye on here, guys. All the while, MXL is a dang buy program. Nary a red candle on this thing. Look at the 5, bottom right of your screen, guys. Very few red candles littered in and around that level. Keep your eye here on MXL. A lot more slower of a mover, certainly, than RDAC, but one that's turning out to be quite profitable. This one is RDAC, that is back to this one. Still zigging and zagging here south of 18. Something to keep an eye out on. What? Boyd Die Boy 10. Boy Die Boy 10? Dropping 2 quid in the chat. Ooh. Man, look at this thing. I can't even look at a super chat without this thing, like ripping up another $50. What do you guys think of ASTS today? Rally coming. The fact that Ram likes ASTS makes me awfully bearish on it. You know what I mean, Joey? You with me? You around?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm right
here. What's going on, bro?
Yeah, I'm right here, man.
All right, guys. Yeah. What do you think about ASTS, man?
Yeah, we can take a look at ASTS. I mean, Ram's been sitting in this one, so we can talk about this one a little bit more. Let's pull it up and see what we got going on from a charting standpoint. ASTS. Damn. Breakdown. This thing's starting to even recover, man. Like SOFI, you can't even get your act together right now in these fintech names. Like, come on, man. ASTS from 70, what did it open up at? 71, tanks to 67, but even bouncing a little bit off here. Boom, boom, 67. AMD, same thing. It's not looking too bad from an intraday. It's not looking great either. But from a daily, where things get worse, right? When you want to talk about something getting ugly but been on a pretty big run, here's the prime example. You have now broken this trend, and how many times have we talked about trend breaks, right? So we've looked at multiple names in the larger participants. So if you have a name like ASTS with a high of oh, damn, this thing's down more than 50%, 47.3%. What the? Yeah, man. And same with like Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. That's just the nature of this beast. Here it is, right? Like, boom, 53% on Robinhood. Here's SOFI. Like, we're gonna say so long to SOFI here momentarily, as it doesn't even want to recover whatsoever. This thing is down substantially off of that high, 51%. So these names that have so much like involvement in, I'm not gonna say like that meme effect, but a lot of people like the fundamentals of the company. Things turn around on a dime. Right? Like, I mean,
well said.
It's not looking good. I think they added 1 million clients, which isn't bad. Obviously, the shift from just student loans and they're becoming a bank. I mean, I thought this would be performing a little bit better, but it doesn't matter what you think. It's what the street thinks at the end of the day, and it doesn't like any of these fintech names, whether it be Robinhood and or SoFi. So yeah, it's tough. ASTS, same thing here, right? ASTS. Street not liking it, man. Where's the money really flowing into? Can you guess?
Where?
The chip names, right? Like a trade that we thought was dead for a little bit, or for the year at least. It's like, no, okay, we're ready to go on our second run. You have the Marvells, you have the Broadcoms tapping into all-time highs last week. You have the NVDAs doing the exact same thing, and the AMDs. So it's like, okay, well, what are we even doing here if we're not talking chip game? Because if you're not talking chip game, the chances are, if you're in the banks or you're in the financials or some of these fintechs or even some of the energy names that have been performing well, you're like, what are we doing? We're talking about dead money in Bitcoin. The rotation back into tech, and it's Google as well too. So a lot of these hyperscalers, and the best remain the best for a reason, and they tend to go out of style for a little bit, but they come back into style quicker than others.
We never go out of style. You know that Taylor Swift song there?
No.
You know that one?
No.
Yeah, well, it's probably a good thing.
Buyer at 1650, guys, here on RDAC, just lost it. So RDAC is losing trend. It's being... Okay, we're going to halt down here. Halt parameter 1561 initiating here. We need 6 or 7 more seconds at this level, and we'll halt 3. Oh, false halt, ripped up. Okay, so the clock started. The clock started again. So that halt clock, and now it's ripping up back into 17. So it did look like this one was going to halt down on RDAC, up to 244%. So it was preceded by a topping tail candle, but the current candle on the 5 is turning into a bottoming tail candle. Current bar high, 1730. Current bar low, 1561. So $1.70 worth of range on one 5-minute candle on a $16 name. That gives you an idea of the volatility, but keep your eye out on this one. I don't think it's done. I just have a bias that we mosey on up into $20 at least. We did some TA. And we saw this one has a lot of technical resistance going into the later part of last year. We haven't been up at these levels this year. The last, I think, breakout day, as we looked at, was the New Year's Eve. So still a 16 buyer here generally. As I mentioned, it wicked below that 1561 current bar low, but there does seem to be a buyer in and around 16 right now on RDAC, RDAC. I want to get into MXL. I just don't know how. Joey, look at this. Look how clean that is.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Look at that. There's a couple of red candles here and there, just, to keep it interesting. But this is a buy program.
Straight up into the right.
Right, straight up into the right. 67. I know. See this, so jokes, I saw this video of, there was like a class taking a picture on their excursion, whatever. It was like, you could tell like they were out of school. And then they're just like taking a picture, the teacher's in front trying to organize everybody. Yeah. And then this other guy, you could tell he was like a teacher as well, goes from behind the teacher's back, so the class is facing him, the teacher has back, and he's like,
oh no.
and then the entire class just erupts and then chaos breaks out. The teacher was trying to organize them for a picture.
Yeah. You see that one guy that they're like the internet's just pure trolling. He's trying to kind of like go with that Tate motive.
Hold on, breaking news, but I want to mention PAPL is just ripping up. Look at this, from 180 into 206. Watch out, PAPL is moving. Adara's got breaking news.
Yeah, sorry for the delay, guys. That oil was popping, market dropping. I wanted to make sure I had the story. We have the story here for this move down in the market and up in oil. Axios reporting that President Donald Trump of the U.S. has rejected Iran's offer to end the conflict and says that their blockade will remain. So no change in the status quo here. The conflict will continue with the U.S. and Iran, and the U.S. blockade will stay up. Back to you.
Yeah. There it goes. Market to the downside. We got all out of that SOFI. I didn't want to participate. It's just super weak today, so it can do whatever it wants to. But watch out for this level to be broken. Look at the volume really kick in here into the overall, man. Crazy stuff. USO, we can pull that up right now. Danger in the danger zone. USO straight to the top side. Is this all-time highs? I think so. Yeah, we're getting right there. Woohoo! Man, I can't stand this name. But anyways, the USO, bang. I truly can't. Sharif. There it is.
What's the beef, bro?
I just don't like it, man. $148 there. New all-time high on United States oil fund as the market continues to slide there, brother.
Slide, yeah. Just took another quick scalp there on RDAC into 17.5. This is really still going, guys. We got to go back to Adara. There's more breaking news.
There's an update here with this Axios report. So as I mentioned earlier, Axios reporting President Trump has rejected the Iran offer to end the conflict. The conflict continues. The blockade stays up. But furthermore, Axios reporting that Central Command and the Trump administration would consider military action in Iran should Iran not act. So things could get heated up here in this Iran-U.S. conflict. It's also worth noting Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense, currently testifying in front of Congress. So if any of this is brought up, that could also be something of note. I am listening to the Hegseth testimony, so if anything significant comes up in terms of military escalation, I'll keep you posted.
Why are you laughing, Joey? I never understand. You start reading the chat and then just start laughing randomly. I don't know what's going on.
Jesse,
Share, bro.
Me, man.
Is it PG-13?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead,
it's not bad.
man.
No, it's my boy Jesse.
Get it, Jesse.
Yeah, he just said USO is up, and so Joe doesn't like it. That's so crazy.
Why is that funny? I don't know why I'm laughing.
It's deeper than what it is.
We're going to hold down here on RDAC, guys. 1492. Let's see if it's another false halt down. Remember, the last one was another false halt. We need a couple of more seconds at this level. We are halted down here. RDAC, halt time. 11:56:02. Earliest this will be open 12:01:02. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one. Look, trend is still holding, quite frankly, even though it's halted down. Look at that, top left of your screen. It's still putting in higher lows generally, just a skosh below the 10 EMA on the 5, but something to watch out for there, guys. RDAC, very, very, very directional. PAPL, that's ugly. But given the illiquidity of the name, I knew something was afoot here with the breakout on PAPL. PAPL is what I'm talking about. 206 high, dropping down now into 188. Look, the trend is still intact, but look at that outlying volume bar. Somebody came in there with a monster buy order to the tune of 545,000 shares. Just to give you an idea of what kind of shareage we were doing on the day, let's look at the candle prior, okay? So as I mentioned, 545,000, Joey. The candle prior to that, 6,200. How about the one before that? 6,200 again. The one before that, 40,000. So very much an outlying volume candle, probably got a lot of people triggered into the long, probably pushed out a lot of shorts who may have been sitting up at these levels. But in any event, reaches 2, stop, and now is south of 2 and is heading right back down. John Del Segno, my man, AIXI is wearing its blaster socks. Love that. I want blaster socks, Joey.
What are those?
I don't know, but they probably make you fly or something, right? Which is good for me. Yeah, this one is really ripping.
Let me pull up the TQs here. Yeah, I mean, what we're doing is we're holding below the volume-weighted average price right now. So we have that double top, and then that neckline that's being broken. We have a lot of volume kicking into the short side. So let's see if we're going to continue. I mean, we're already south of this level. You can see that it's acted as resistance somewhat at this 61.17 level. So maybe we'll get some form of continuation. Wait for this pullback north of here, and if you fail to establish a new high, so there's a strong uptick. So watch out for the headline sensitivity coming into this market, because once you have that flush to the downside, and then look at the tape. Boom, printing 61s above the ass. So keep an eye out on it, especially with Donald Trump stepping in, rejecting the deal. It's going to be a trickier one to trade the overall market right now.
All right, so the details of the breaking news that Adara just gave us include the following. Trump says he will keep Iran under a naval blockade until they agree to a nuclear deal. After the strikes, because remember, he is planning for a short and powerful wave of strikes, according to the report. After the strikes, which would likely include infrastructure targets, the U.S. would press Iran to negotiate again. 3, Trump sees continuing Trump sees continuing the blockade as his primary source of leverage. And 4, Trump said Iran's oil shortage and pipelines are, quote, getting close to exploding because Iran can't export oil due to the blockade. What I think he means there is they're running out of places to store it, right? And so that becomes a bit of an issue there. USO just ripping up on that news. So give you all the details, right? We're not taking an opinion one way or another, but this is what's being reported here. So we're always going to give you the real deal. Yeah, sorry, Joe. I just wanted to mention that.
No. I think that's very worth it. Let's see. Yeah, man. Let's see if we can get a little volatility spike up here. There is a resistance zone. A pop up into this level would be ideal. But first things first, let's see. We are at the top end of the range, punching through, buying into resistance. So we need some strong flushes on the tape like we were seeing momentarily. Boom, printing 21s and printing 22s. So let's go print 23s. Let's hit that ass. There it goes. It's Scalp City. We're going to send things off to Adair with happening now in the Neil with his lesson of the day. Let's go TQs back to towards the top side.
USO just keeps climbing. Pop in USO and a drop here in the market. Now, in case you missed it, I reported to you guys, Sharif just went over it as well. But first report we had coming out here was from Israeli news channel 12 saying that President Trump said he's not going to be lifting the naval blockade without a deal that includes the nuclear program. Then a couple of minutes after that, Axios reports that President Trump has rejected Iran's offer, says the blockade is going to stay until they get a deal that includes nuclear. So basically, until Iran agrees to stop their uranium enrichment and end their nuclear program, they're not going to have a deal. Furthermore, President Trump and Central Command reportedly preparing for a short wave of strikes, quote unquote, in Iran. So I'll keep you guys posted. Also, 2 hours, 2 p.m. Eastern, Fed Chair Powell's final dance as chair of the Federal Reserve. If you guys want to keep posted with this meeting, if you want to see the live reaction to that press conference at 2:30 p.m. and the rate decision at 2 p.m. Eastern, please join us here at Trader TV Live, or just stay with us for another 2 hours. Why not? Until 2 p.m. Eastern when that decision comes out. A couple other names moving around here. Of course, we have tons of earnings plays, which we've discussed already. You've got the likes of, in terms of intraday movers here, SOFI, Bloom Energy, Avis, CAR. You had STX, you had Starbucks, but Nokia, not an earnings day play, nor is it a day one play, but a good pop to the upside for NOK, one I've seen a lot of people in our chat ask about. No news again on this one from this day, but going back to Monday, they got a upgrade from Argus Research. So it could be day 3 excitement, or could just be that NOK has a lot of excitement. So who's calling Nokia's phone? Looks like a lot of investors to the upside. Last but not least, I do want to mention here, Mag 7 earnings galore. Tonight, after the bell, you'll get Amazon, you'll get Meta, you'll get Google, you'll get Microsoft. First time since I started here that I've ever seen 4 Mag 7s report on the same night. So please join us at 4 p.m. Eastern for an earnings recap unlike one you've ever seen before. I'll be here covering it live, in person, and on social media. Brendan will be here. We're going to get Sean. We're going to get Neil. So make sure you join us. Again, just stay all day. You've got the Fed at 2. You've got earnings at 4. Why the heck not? In the meantime, why the heck not listen up for Neil's lesson of the day? Neil, what is today's lesson?
Well, thank you, Dara. I mean, you just had something that happened on USO, which actually brings me and gave me the idea almost in real time, because it was something that it flat out just happened for me. So a lot of times if you're at an inflection point and something like this happens in the market where you got that spike in USO and the rejection of the deal, you can take that move to your advantage, but it might require some very quick thinking. So I'm going to outline what happened, and then you'll get a better idea when I try to explain this. One of the trades I like mean reversion. Like, I was looking at SLV, and you can probably obviously see that I was looking for a trend break long here, like all the way from the pre-market, just lower highs, and then put in some higher lows. So bottom, higher low. Looked like it was about to break the trend, and then all you know what breaks loose. Ooh, let me put this at break even, tighten my stop up here. And all you know what breaks loose when USO goes higher. Now, in that moment, I know this is going to be a sort of inverse relationship here. So that long is gone. Like, the idea of punching long is immediately gone, but now it's a hold of the trend. It was a bit delayed because the USO was already going, and I can flip to the short. Now, you're going to see immediately in here that I jumped out of some shares. Now, I like trend breaks a little bit more than I like just, shorting on VWAP and a reload, that kind of thing. It's just a bigger strategy for me. So almost immediately, like my default's set to what it is. So I'm getting in for the amount that I was going to take the breakout on, which was too much. So the quick thinking was, well, I shifted my plan. It's a good entry, but I don't like it as much. Now, if I had held on to the whole thing, it would have worked out. But my first reaction was, okay, well, I've already punched into this. Let me just get half it. I got half of it out, took the spread. I actually made a small amount on it. But it was just about that quick adjustment, because instead of going long on an all-day trend break, which I love those, and above the volume-weighted average price, I was flipping into a news-based scalp trade, which I'm actually going to not wait for it to get above. I'm just going to get out of it right here, take the win. And because I'm making that flip, and I know it's just a reactionary trade, I do have targets. So obviously that's just me getting half out because I don't really love the notion of the amount that I got into it based on the setup being different. But once it's working, and I say this all the time, once it's working, note that I want to play it into this first support level. See where the bodies of the candles are? They're at 75. And see where the bottom wick is, like right underneath that bottom? I don't take anything out in the gap because I can see USO pumping higher and I was able to get into it. It's like, let it fall to this level and then throw a bid out there. Let it test this absolute low and then throw a bid out there. Oftentimes, one thing I see, it's bad enough when you're in any trade and you don't give it a chance to work, like as it's starting to work, you're getting out too aggressively. But in this particular case, like something different just happened. It's almost like a panic moment. It's about stops are getting thrown out there. And when you've got one of those candles, allow it to fill that gap in, right? And when it doesn't fill in the gap, or when it does fill in the gap, then you can get out. When it doesn't fill in the gap, you can make that decision to scalp some out there. But you want to give it the chance. When something big has just happened in the market, you want to take advantage of that opportunity. And in this particular case, all of that, Bitcoin's breaking trend. All of that was precipitated with just looking at, I didn't even flip stocks. Just what I was on. Should it move on this? Answer yes. Is there an entry? Yeah, I'm shorting off of VWAP with the stop right here. Punch in. So it's that simple. And then ultimately, I'm gonna watch out for USO. When I see it make that topping tail candle in there, I make sure that I'm getting some out at that bottom. Don't let it revert all the way back. And this might still be a good short, but it's a reactionary trade, so I'm thinking get in, get out, and then make your next move. But I think the real key thing is you might not have to flip to something different. It's the quick judgment that if I'm looking at a key inflection price and the market does something special, well, whatever you're looking at, if it's remotely falling the market, it can just go, and I might have to look the other direction. But if it's at VWAP or it's at a breakout level, and I was thinking it was going to break, well, then I fade it. Simple. And if it had been reversed, then maybe I would have still gone in the long. Like maybe it could have been good news. Had it been good news, I would have probably taken the breakout trade and just doubled the shares, because now all of a sudden I have a reason to like it more. So I don't have to adjust the plan of action because we're at an inflection point, but I do need to at least quickly react, because you've got a few seconds while this is happening in USO for it to trickle into other things. And when you see that, you've got to be very quick, and you're always going to be the most decisive if you were already looking at that trade or at that stock or that instrument at that price level, because you have thought about your ideas about the level. If you have to jump to something you weren't looking at before, it's going to be a heck of a lot more difficult. So this was more of a, hey, this just happened in the market, let's talk about it kind of notion, and we'll see what happens the rest of the day. The beef was pretty good. More rice than we needed, I'll tell you that much. But I don't know. I'll give it like a 7.1 there. Kind of a solid, but nothing spectacular about it. The rice was like plain sticky rice. That's not necessarily my bag, the plain sticky rice. It's just, too many carbs, that kind of a thing. We'll be back before 2 o'clock. Because obviously it's a bit of a Fed day. Even if we don't get a rate change, we'll still be early for you to make sure we lead you into what is going to be a busy afternoon. But for now, we'll throw it back on over to Sharif and Joe. Market's catching a bit of a bid. USO tries to pull back here, but wow, what a shock that was. You can react quickly, but you've got to know where you want to go and be decisive. Sometimes the stock that you were already trading can be perfectly good to express a move.
Yeah, Fabian, can you play that that thing again. Thank you, Fabian. So this reminds me, obviously, of The Price is Right. Do you know that they have The Price is Right tonight with Howie Mandel every Tuesday? They do it at night now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because it's usually 11 o'clock, right?
Okay.
And there's not as many people that stay home now, obviously, and most people go to work. So it's like, okay, let's watch it at night, right?
All right. Nonetheless, here, the T-triple-Qs, big-time rebound. We take that scalp. Ed, brother, you say, how are we not playing this? A guy from work, I don't know about SMR right now, to be honest with you, to answer your question, but nonetheless, guys, we have that T-triple-Q scalp, bang, bang, right at the break of the volume-weighted average price, continuing to climb 61.40, and we're talking about watch out for a potential failed high right here. If it doesn't break this pivot and you start to see this base start to form, then maybe you get that move back in. What is USO doing? Pains me. Oh, starting to come in off of those highs, but I mean, it did run into that $149 mark, $149.50. I wouldn't be surprised if we run into 150 and maybe even 151 rum there. But SoFi starting to find a bounce off the lows, Robinhood not doing too much, and Tesla still channeled down, but a nice little bounce off of that. So bang. NXPI, we can pull that up for you right now before we send it back to Sharif and see what he's got going on. And
what a monster, NXPI, Joey.
Yeah, it is big time. $290 semiconductor, and this is the name that we don't talk about too often. You brought it up a while ago, Sharif.
I put it on the note this morning, my man.
Yeah. No, but other than like,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean. Like it comes up very rarely. You mentioned it. I remember months and months ago you were talking about this name. Like this could be a sleeper play right here, NXPI, and sure enough, there it is, up to $290.
What a monster, bro. Joey.
Yes, sir.
There goes MXL. We're in at the $0.50. We just wet the beak at the $0.25. We're looking for continuation above 67. And here it is. Again, above on the ask, below on the bid. Next print for me in and around 2/3. Looking for 67 and 2/3. We got 66.5 right now. So pack in the patience there. Looking for a bigger move here. MXL's been a dang buy program. You know, when you get up into 6.7, you get up into 6.6, and in the high 60s, you start thinking $10 levels, like 70, right? It's a little bit different here on MXL, not strictly a small cap gapper. So, you know, it could have a bit of a different tune. It's a $6 billion market cap. So it's not, you know, like PAPL or whatever. No disrespect to PAPL. But here it is, 67.15. I'm looking for a bigger move in. And my observation on MXL is that the bigger moves just come in waves. Like in one swift move, you'll see boom, 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 all the size get taken off the ask, and then it'll calm down for like, you know, a couple of minutes, and then it'll rip up again. So whatever algorithm this one is being controlled by is got a bit of a different tune here. Now, because I want to lock in all my profits, I'm moving up my stop to a skosh below that $0.50 area. Now, I will have to give it a little bit of room because you can get a little slippage on this one. So we're moving up the stop, but I'm taking into consideration possible slippage here as it drops below $67 again. Now, the other trade that I've got on, EXTR. One beak wetter here. I'm looking for a bigger move into 21 on EXTR. It is having trouble, though, continuing with the higher low, higher high candles. So the candle that got me in is a 12 o'clock candle, the high of which there is 66. I got the beak wet there. Then you have the 1205 candle, which had a higher low, but also a lower high. High of that candle, 64.5. And here we are showing 62s. I definitely am looking for something above that $0.75 so that we can, you know, form that bias that we're on the way to the whole dollar in and around 21. It is a 20.87 high of day, though, on EXTR, and it just got a bit of a sell here. So what is my move? So let me just relook at my stop here for EXTR. EXTR, we're going to get stopped out below the $0.50. 48s is what I placed it at. So 55 is now showing. Let's see if it loses the $0.50. If it is, I'm out, and we'll give back a little bit here. But definitely looking for another move on EXTR into about 21. Let's have a look at what MXL is doing. Right back above 67 it goes, but no continuation into the high 6.7s, and that's where I'm waiting for. There's a $0.25. Let's see if we can get a little bit higher now. Let's see if we can test the half. 26 is showing up. There's the third of $1 now on MXL, but look how the spread is opening. Okay, it's tightening up a little bit here, but it was about 30 pennies or so. 67.30 seller, looking for a bigger spike into the $0.50, expecting resistance on MXL at the $0.50, as we typically do with most of these names. $0.50, whole dollar resistance. There it goes up. Another little price spike up there. We're at current bar high right now, 67.38. What do we have on 53? So not a bad look. What's going on there? Oh, okay, you got the poll going on. I like it. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. All right, we're looking at the largest percentage move after the bell from these giants here. We got Google sitting in 1. You see me type in 1. We have Amazon on 2 and Microsoft 3, Meta on 4. Put those votes in right now. Mike Peter Ryder, I can't believe you put 1 in there.
Amazon, Microsoft, Meta.
Yep.
It could be up or down, right?
Up or down. Largest percentage move.
Meta.
Up or down. Oh, yeah?
Meta.
You got Meta?
Yeah.
All right, did you put 4? Bang, put 4 in there. All right, let's see what everyone else. You guys asked for this poll. You get it. What is the overall market doing, Sharif? We were talking about that lower high not too long ago, and sure enough, here it is. Consecutive lower highs on the TQQQs to the downside. Boom! 6140 is roughly where that mark is, and you can see we're slowly starting to climb back into VWAP. This could be a good potential short trade. If USO is continuing to climb higher, then by all means, we might see a little bit of the inverse correlation between the NASDAQ and USO. But if this trend line breaks, then you're going to probably find a recovery. But if not, right now, volume is to the downside. So stick with that and go with the flow.
Stick with it.
Joe has, actually, no.
What happened, Joey?
No, someone said I have a lot of skin in Meta. I do have skin in the game. It's actually my 3rd largest holding right now, META. But I'm in at like $590.
Who could complain about that?
Yeah, exactly.
My man's almost, you're almost $100 in the money. You're almost $100 in the money.
Yeah,
I'm
no, that one's
for you,
been
bro.
big. That one's been my NVDA. So it goes NVDA, IBIT, Meta, and then unfortunately Robinhood, and then Netflix, JPM, and Walmart.
That's what you're holding right now?
That's what I got.
When did all this happen, bro? Like,
They're going to be on the dip. I've been talking about Walmart a lot. Remember I was saying, remember I told you JPM a couple months ago? I was looking to buy JPM off the dip.
Good for you, bro.
Yeah, we grabbed a little bit of JPM off of those lows and some Walmart as well too.
Give
It was a couple days.
A call?
No, he's not answering right now. He's not answering right now. I did after.
She'll answer. He's calling.
Yeah, I know she. What is it called? I bought Walmart after it hit the Trilly Club. A couple days after that.
You're gonna be. I hope you're gonna be pleasantly surprised with that, brother. I
with
think.
Walmart?
Yeah.
I mean,
can I say something too?
Yeah.
And like, I hate to put it this way because we do know that obviously when they cut down on employees, people lose their jobs. But that's my understanding is they're really looking at leaning out from a labor perspective. And if that's the case, then margins, we know what margins do when you cut fixed costs.
Worked at Walmart in high school.
I didn't. I worked at, so I have 2 retail experiences.
Yeah.
I worked at the Gap when I was 16.
Okay.
I was seasonal, and then they kept me on after that.
Nice.
So it was cool. And then I did Eddie Bauer the next year as well. So those were my only 2 retail stints.
My first job, I think I was, I don't know, 15. I must have been 15 you were able to work at, maybe even 14. Dairy Queen in Newmarket. My grandpa used to, my grandpa used to drop me off half an hour, 45 minutes early. He said, Joe, you always have to be early. Nonetheless, all right, what do we got here? You got a fist pump going on. We have the market coming back in, USO back towards the top side. A lot going on right now. Talk to us.
You know that song by LL Cool J, doing it and doing it and doing it well. Doing it. No, anybody know that? Okay.
Yeah, I know that one.
I was hoping Neil was going to chime in.
He's locked in.
I know.
He got the head.
Whatever. There goes MXL. So we take the dollar. We're going to hit the dollar club on that. I don't know where the dollar club is anymore. I've lost it. Assassino, help me out, brother, because I don't know. I used to have it over here, and it's gone. But there goes, there goes MXL into the high of the day. We had 53s. We got 60-something there. Ripping up is MXL. Good look. We're all done this trade. So now we get to focus on EXTR. Now we're in the money on this one, but barely. It did pop up, reach that prior area high into 72s. That's current bar high right now. Looking for 87s. 87 is the high of the day. 2087, that is. So taking a couple of prints. Actually, sorry, that's the first print, actually, that I got on EXTR. I'm looking for a little bit more, guys. So looking for this one to work right back in to 2087. Ideally, it makes it in to that $21 area. I'm going to pack the patience on this one. Tech Lion, RC6. ACAN is moving. Let's have a look at AKAN. This was a multiple mover. A multiple mover? Is that a thing? This one's a big mover. Oh, baby. Yes, the breakout is on AKAN. Thank you very much for pointing that out. Don't know how I missed that. I guess, yeah, it just showed up on the scanner there not long ago. Look, the breakout just came in at, I don't want to say it just came in. It started breaking out at 11:30 You can't look at everything, though, man. You can't do the show, answer questions, and trade, and look at the scanner all at the same time, but this is beautiful. The spread, though, could be a little concerning here for some people on AKAN showing 12 or 14 pennies. You're going to have to manage that with whatever strategy you're going to employ, but the spread is going to be a factor here on AKAN. Let's throw this one on trading screen. XTLB, I'm going to take off here because it's hot garbage. AKAN on the NQ, that is. Yeah, there you go. Look at the spread, 30 penny spread opening up here. So obviously higher lows manifesting, 27 buyer, then a 28 buyer. Here comes 29. Are they going to buy it up at 29, Joey? There's 29 breaching right now. Let's see if we can kind of get in a little bit something here at 29. Oh, well, it's leaving 29 now, right back into the half dollar. So AKAN, absolutely him right now, breaking out in the same way that MXL is in to 68. We're going to 70 here on MXL. That's my bias, not financial advice, up 30.5%. This one is on its horse and looking for that $10 area, 68.09 high. Here's 68. Usually there's a bit of a struggle at around the whole dollar here. That's been my observation with MXL. I think this buy program that's been on for, I want to say since 9:30. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, here's what I mean by that. Get in. Yeah, tell me this is not a buy program, man. Like, just come on.
If I've ever seen one, it's right there. But if you want to talk about sell programs right now, Shreve, the market is starting to head a little bit lower.
Yeah,
we got to flip it. Yeah, we got to flip that for show. But no, nonetheless, guys, a nice little take of the breakup support levels. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of a bounce, starting really small on this one, but that crack. If USO continues to climb, we're not too far off of the high of the day. Maybe we can see, there it is, boom, instantly. So you got to take that cash sometimes when it presents itself, but consecutive lower highs, as long as we don't break this trend, we're going to be rocking and rolling. Start small, look to get involved a little bit more as support levels are continuously holding up. But I think at this pace, if the volume stays relatively light, I wouldn't be surprised if we get this continuation to the downside and USO continuing up. SOFI not doing too much. We can remove that. Robinhood still hovering around the lows of the day, so not too bad. Let's go back to our stock voter here. Who do we have leading the way? Meta, yeah, 34 votes, guys. Not much going on for Microsoft and Amazon. I think that's respective. Microsoft typically doesn't go too crazy, even though we did see it a couple reports ago where it did have a pretty strong gap up, but I don't know if that's...
What's the IV, Joey? I mean, I know that's Microsoft? Your world. No, on all four of these bad boys. Let's do the...
Implied moves?
Yeah. You want to do it on Market Chameleon?
Expected move. Yeah. I have it up here on options AI. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Either way is fine. Amazon, we looked at that one, 6.8% expected move. Microsoft, typically cooler. It was around 6.1, which is quite a bit. Google, I think it might be one of the lower ones, but 5.6. And then we also have, which one did we miss?
Microsoft 6.8, Amazon 7.2, Meta 7.3. So Meta's the highest.
7%, yeah.
Yeah, Meta's the highest of these bad boys right here. But Alphabet's the lowest one. I'm surprised that it got number 2.
Alphabet is the lowest one. Well, I think it's a lot of it's like cloud. What is cloud going to tell us, man? How much money are these guys making off of Gemini?
You know what the theory is?
What's that?
All their savings using TPUs in their data centers, as well as the NeoCloud's going to save them a bunch of money from having to buy.
These guys,
so that's the theory right now.
These guys are it right now.
Absolutely.
I think Google is him. That and NVDA are both it. I like Meta as well, Amazon, AWS. Those are out of the larger names. Those are my stuff. And I mean, they can dip their hand in every basket, essentially. You've seen Amazon getting involved with the pharmaceuticals. You can't name a sector that essentially Google isn't in, really.
Straight up. Maybe, they got to get into groceries or something, dude. I mean, we always joke about that, right?
Don't start at that, because then it's like, hey, these guys are like, hey, don't give them any ideas, Sharif, because next thing you know, they'll be making those moves. But nonetheless, there it is. We're still sitting in this TQs. Let's see if we can get this breakdown. Sharif has EXTR, still rocking and rolling. We're short this name. Let's see if we can get that break at 61. As long as USO continues to climb, it's short the market, and we're still hovering around those highs in the U.S. oil funds, guys.
Yeah, USO is just 6 3/4%.
Yeah.
150. Is this all-time highs, Joey?
Yeah. It's all-time highs.
Guys, MXL is ripping up again. 68.79 now is the high on MXL. It's on the way to 70. It's up 31 3/4, going on 32. What strength on this name, man. I shouldn't have been taking it out so quickly there, but What a move. Let's take a quick look here on the monthly on USO. Well, okay. Oh, look at this, Joey. I don't know if this, it did reverse split, 1 to 8. Oh. That was back in May of 2020, so like in the heart of COVID. It did split. So I don't know if this is split adjusted or not, but I'm assuming USO was never at $950. I can't imagine that would have been the case. That was the GFC, by the way. That was a great financial crisis. We remember what oil did there. And then you had kind of the commodities that did nothing for a decade. I wonder why, because rates were at 0. But in any event, I think this is probably all-time highs.
That's well, I mean, right? Yeah, I see what you're looking at there. I went over to the monthly, 970.
But it's split, Joey. Don't forget there was a 1 to 8 back in May.
Yeah.
May or April, whatever, it doesn't really matter, in 2020. So right in the heart of COVID. Those were good days.
Those were great days.
They weren't. Stuck at home, oh man. Yeah. And living alone during COVID was difficult.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I
thought it was difficult.
I had me and my buddy living
together. Yeah, exactly. No,
he was pacing around the condo for a little bit. He was losing his stuff. I enjoyed it.
I don't mind being alone. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that I do alone, and I get that, right? But, this was just, like, forced being alone.
Yeah, and
then,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was next level stuff. I didn't enjoy that. AKAN.
I enjoyed it.
Pardon me?
I really had a great time.
Well, you were living with someone. I was constantly going up to my parents' place. Because I was so sick of being alone, right? AKAN is ripping here, guys, up 75%. Look, it breached 29, but it didn't close below 29, even on the 1, not even the 5, the 1-minute chart. So there was certainly buying at 21 in the same way as we saw at 27. We saw it at 28, and here it is trying to break right back into the high of day of 31.70. Very good strength here on AKAN. It is spready. 30 pennies, 60 pennies it just opened up to there, 61 pennies now. So you're going to have to really figure out how you're going to trade this using your risk management skills, of course, because this one is awfully volatile and the spread opens up willy-nilly. Right now, 18 pennies, 41. There you go. And the reason I'm able to see it so clearly is, as I've mentioned before, what I do with my scanner is I have several columns there, and each one obviously gives me different information. One of the columns that I use is a spread, so I can immediately see upon detecting a stock, a $1.35 spread we just saw on AKAN momentarily. So I see the spread immediately there, and it's constantly changing. If you're wondering what the red and the green rectangles are to the right of that, that just denotes whether or not it's close to the high of the day or the low of the day, or somewhere in between. Case in point, like this one right here, MXL, basically at the high of the day. If it was all the way to the right, like right there, it would be at the high. The opposite of SIMO, almost at the low of the day. So immediately I can kind of see exactly where this one is in the day's range, and it helps me kind of just narrow things down super quick. Shout out to my man, Always Be Thankful. Nick W., could you give your thoughts on NXPI? Absolutely. Load it up here. From a fundamental sense, I just got to make it very clear that I don't know too much about the company, okay? It's not, I try to follow the semis quite closely, but this is not one that I have a lot of information on. Look at this green candle. That's the monthly, okay. I was about to freak out there. Okay, the daily's too noisy. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah, okay, so long, prolonged range here. Certainly some support at 150. Multiple areas of support at 150, even though you did breach there momentarily in 2022, there's been a lot of support at 150. Now, looking at the resistance, for the most part, it's a 250 resistance with outliers. So if this loses the bid, or for whatever reason sells off, you're buying here at 250. It looks like we're on our way to 3, with the ultimate high being in July of last year when we got to 296. Today's high on the daily, 292. So we still haven't quite made it up there, but NXPI up 25%. Guys, this is a $72 billion name. It just moved 25% just like that. AKAN is breaking down. We'll get more to that when we get back from Madero.
APL on the move a little bit here. We have reports that Apple's planning a Siri camera mode and upgraded visual AI for iOS 27. So iOS 27 here could be getting a Siri camera mode and Apple upgraded visual AI for AAPL. So more hints as to what this updated Siri could be. This is reportedly going to be announced here at the WWDC event in June. So again, some of these Siri updates could include AI camera mode, upgraded visuals. I'll keep you guys posted if I get more, but we'll have to wait and see if we do get these Siri updates coming through at the WWDC event in early June. Back to you.
Those updates, Sharif. What also we need to update here on is we're starting to crack the $61. I'll say this.
Yep.
I'll talk to Siri, right? And it just immediately says, hey, do you want me to go to ChatGPT?
Yeah, it's not good, bro.
You know, how does it seems like it's getting worse, though.
It's not getting worse.
It feels like it, dude, compared to what you got else going on around. It's just...
For sure.
Yeah,
relatively speaking, absolutely. I totally agree there. Can I say something, though?
Yeah, what's up?
If the Gemini integration works well...
Yeah.
And it's not eating into the margins because they're paying through the nose. We know they're paying about $1 billion, right? Give or take, a year. So I don't think that's going to be margin.
Is that what they're paying, $1 billion?
Yeah, but they're getting 20 back.
They're
so they're just probably getting a check for 19 instead of 20, whatever.
Exactly.
The point is, I won't care too much that they're unable to develop it internally.
Yeah.
If it works well, because it's the user experience that I think that we're all really concerned with.
Yeah, it is. No, it doesn't matter where it comes from as long as it works how you want it to and it can be competitive. But that's what I was saying there we go. That's what I was saying from the get-go, brother, is that man, these guys, even Dan Ives was just like, yeah, I don't know if these guys are going to get it done internally. Obviously, they had to sum it out with Gemini, but what we got going on here as the T-triple-Qs, man, we haven't hit this today. I just feel like I haven't hit it in so long, even though I probably hit some yesterday.
Oh.
Bang. Well, I mean, that was short-lived, man. You don't want to get too excited there. Jesse Martinez, let's go. Nonetheless, we'll hit this one as well, too. Let's go, man. As we get the NASDAQ to the downside. Notorious likes that one. Rick James giving us that face slap. Nonetheless, man. Hey, did I tell you?
What happened?
I didn't tell you, but I will tell you right now. What are we celebrating?
Don't worry, bro. It's Rick James, baby.
Oh, it's Rick James.
Got Rick
all right,
James.
so okay, you guys aren't gonna fill me in. All right, I see how it is. Doesn't matter. We're gonna catch a little bit more to the downside on the.
You don't like Chappelle Show, though, man. I've tried to elicit some Chappelle Show references with you. Sometimes you don't get them. What are you looking at me like that for, bro? It's not like I haven't mentioned.
Bro, are you kidding me?
Chappelle Show.
Yeah, the Chappelle Show. Dude, I've said that Clayton Bigsby is probably one of the
Joey, yes.
Like one of the greatest characters of all time.
So good. He doesn't know, Joey.
And the Mad Real World when they have that one.
So you're good. You're good. My bad. I take that whole thing back.
Yeah,
Clearly, you know what you're talking about.
Crazy.
That's why you looked at.
I wanted to do something here, though.
Go.
As the market continues to slide. Just stop, relax. Oh, we're really tanking right now, Sharif, man. This thing is really starting to slide. Let's rock and roll here on the NAS, see if we can catch an additional fill at 70s, and then off to the races it goes.
All press is roasting me.
Why?
Sorry, he's like, Joe, don't listen to Sharif. He doesn't even eat fried chicken, and he likes Arsenal. Oh, come on.
Who said that?
Job P,
sorry.
Can't
listen to that guy.
That's funny, man. Guys, a couple of updates here. RDAC's halted up. It just bounced off VWAP right around 13. I still think that this one is still in a bit of a downtrend. You can very clearly see that on the 1 or the 5 top of your screen. It's a series of lower highs. The top is showing 1380. We halted at 1378, so not much of a move up here on RDAC. That's one thing to keep an eye out for. MXL is right back into the high, 6908. It's showing 6885. This one feels like it's on the way to 70. We'll see if it's able to clear through that. And then AKAN, dropped off a cliff. 3170 high, dropping here into the 20 moving average on the 5. That happens to be around $26, but that's a big red candle at 1225. The high of which was 3065, the low of which was 25.52, so $5 worth of range in one 5-minute candle, AKA, and giving it up in a hurry. momentarily anyway. Let's see if it's able to recover, but it's up 50%, so we'll keep a close eye on that one. And there goes MXL, right back into 69. So let's see if this one can kind of squeeze into that 70 area. I could get back into this one. The spread's opened up about 24 pennies now. It was as tight as 2 or 3, but it seems to open up right around these whole dollar areas as the buying and selling really kind of dries up a little bit at that area. So right now, not able to clear 69 decisively. So we shall keep a close eye on that one. Any other new small cap gappers, guys, just tag me in the chat for ones making a move. I'm seeing RPGL is ripping here on my scanner. So let's look at that, RPGL. It looks like it's made a big move there. Oh, baby, this looks good, 58%. It's in that dollar range, $2 range, 160 high. Volume has been pretty good. Clearly resistance at 50 for the majority of the day. Couple of bull flags under its belt. One right at 9:30. Consolidates with almost no volume, basically from 10:05 all the way to 11:15. For whatever reason, 11:15 volume brought a lot of upside move here, and here we are at 158 south of 160. Keep your eye here on RPGL. Sorry, I didn't get to put the ticker RPGL. We'll talk more about this one when we get back from Madeira.
Keep an eye here on Airbnb. News for Airbnb. Semaphore reporting that the company is going to be facing a House committee probe over Chinese AI. Back to you.
All right. Yeah, good stuff there as we continue. Jesse, where you at, my boy? There it is. A nice move to the downside in the TQQQs. USO putting in that high up to 149.54. Watch out for 150 to come into play. Nonetheless, let's keep our eye on the lower time frame just in case there's some turnaround signals. But I'm not getting any of that right now. We have Robinhood down to 70, almost cracking that $70 mark. Bitcoin just straight channel down, man. Poor thing. Here it is. I'm sitting in it as well. So not too much fun here going in Bitcoin land. Look at this channel, guys, throughout the whole intraday session. And these like pops are just so shallow. You run into the top end of the channel, and then you start to come right back in. So keep an eye out on that. What was our previous high on this thing? I want to find that out. On this, we'll pull up the daily and see what we have. Where did we climb up to? 45.35. Yeah, and I mean, like, so if we take what we have here and compare it to what we've seen in the past, where the days just seem a little bit stronger, yeah, I'm just not getting that vibe right now. This is when did we start consolidating off these? Those February? You know what I mean? Like, so a couple of months already where you do get about 20% off of the lows. But I mean, hey, man, it's just not looking good. Trendline break. Gotta wait. I think we gotta wait till summer or the beginning of next year for us to start seeing some big time moves in Bitcoin. I would love it for it to climb to an all-time high sooner than that, but I'm just not getting that feel right now. And with that being said, I could be totally wrong. So is this going to be a good time to start buying? Yeah, as long as you don't crack this $37 mark, then I think that if it does, that's where things can really start to get ugly, and we can head into that lower 60s, even lower 50s at that point, which would be absolutely disastrous for a lot of individuals. And Saylor would be underwater at that point, but that probably doesn't even matter because he would just be selling his preferred and then just buy some more at a lower price. So he's got that never-ending loop going on over there in strategies. So, yeah, he'll always continue to. But there goes.
What happened, Joey?
A new low, my boy. How low can you go? Can you get real low on the TQs?
All right, guys, watching RPGL, it failed the $0.50. I was thinking maybe this one we could pick it up off the $0.50, 162 high, big red candle, bringing us down from 160 south of 150 now. Let's see if 145 holds. There is some support here at 145 earlier on the 1 and then again over here. Yeah, going to keep a close eye on this one. Not in it quite yet, but definitely interested. Let's see current bar low. Current bar low takes us to 146, right? So let's go ahead. I'm going to put it at 144. Good. And we're just going to basically look for that bad boy to hold up in and around that level. So we're going to go just like that. Yeah, we're going to drop that a little bit, Joey. There we go. Let's see if it holds up. It's already coming back down into 145. Look at MXL go. Oh, my days. There it goes through 70, 70, 78. A lot of strength here on MXL. Unreal. This one ripped through 70. Well, at least momentarily. Does it continue, though? So keeping a close eye here on MXL. Did I get stopped out already of RPGL? Oh, where's my screen? Oh, wow. Yeah, okay, I got pushed out of that already. All right. But it's heading right back up. Yeah, I should have given a little bit more room. Take over for a second.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the real Bruce, this is a great question. And you add a million more customers. Fintech names. Look at Robinhood. Look at SoFi. They're just really not in play right now. I don't disagree with you about some of the earnings report, but yeah, it's the street not liking it. So yeah, nonetheless, guys, there it is off of those lows. We play that support level break here on the NASDAQ right around that 60.95 level. We get in 06s. You get that breakdown into a low of approximately 60.66s, and then now you're starting to curl around a little bit. So what we want to see is a failed high. You establish a new lower high, and then you curl back over. But USO coming in off of those highs, so you're starting to see that inverse correlation start to come back into play. Let's take a look at the VIX, actually. Did we see an uptick in the VIX? Because if we did, then maybe some more continuation. That's another gauge and another tool that we can use and add it to our arsenal, essentially, to see where the overall market is potentially going. Higher the VIX, more volatility step in, which typically means more downside PA. Let's head over to the index here and see what we got. Ooh, wow, okay. Up to 1856 on the VIX. You guys know where I stand. I think it's so hard to anticipate the increase in volatility. You have to be so quick on the gun. But what we can do with the VIX is just it's just continuous time in. You allow it to peak, and then that's when you can start to take advantage of it. Down 50%, obviously $35 to 18. You want to buy some time if you are looking to purchase the put route. I just don't think we're up high enough currently, right? So you have the trend. I don't know how much the technicals really matter in the VIX, to be honest with you. I think that's a good question to be had, but trendline break and then to the downside. But if you go back into history, you can see $50 and you go right back down. You spike once again, $66 and you come right back down. And I remember I was listening and I was reading up on something. The fact that is that there's been only a handful of times throughout the market where you see the VIX climb an X amount of percentage point in a single trading session, but months, like weeks and months later, eventually it starts to come right back in. So there's potential trades based on that, climbs above 87. I think it was like 80%, it was like 80% or something within a couple of trading sessions. You don't see it spike that high that often. So, I mean, the reversion play or the retracement play or the revert back to the mean is always a potential trade as long as you're patient enough there in the VIX. And there goes the market climbing right back higher. So if we get stopped out break even, we only have 10% remaining in our position. Let's hold it until it hits that level, but a strong recovery here in the NASDAQ.
All right, Mark, 9670. Great question, brother. I personally don't have an answer to this. Have you decided what age to stop trading / retire? I don't know if you've ever thought about that. I personally don't feel like this job is physically demanding. As long as you're sound mentally and you're sharp, you probably could do this well into your, even if you decide to leave the prop floor.
Can't you just do it after retirement too?
Exactly.
At home?
Right? And you don't have to intraday trade, you can swing trade, right? Which I definitely like a lot more, right? It's just you can help the setups. They're a bit, I don't want to say cleaner, but there's less stress involved, at least with swing trading in my
yeah. Oh, big time. Yeah. Big time. I think it gets to the point where it's like, yeah, maybe like retire from it. I don't know if you ever leave the game once you're involved with it. Once you're integrated into the market, then I think it's something that may be a little bit more difficult to put to the side. But are you as active? Maybe. I don't think so. I don't think I'll be sitting in front of a desk day trading. But if you have the capital to do so, and swing trade, as you were mentioning, Sharif, then that's something along the lines that I would most definitely be doing.
Yeah, that's kind of where I see myself probably going. For in the long term. I mean, that's just kind of the way I haven't really thought about it. I mean, this is the first time I'm thinking about it now. Ozan, I made a mistake and bought too much 400 Tesla December calls. I am gonna die. No,
oh no, you're
not gonna die, brother.
You said that, Ozan?
Yeah, I love Ozan. He's back, baby. Do we look?
Oh, you said, "Am I going to?" No.
Am I going to die?
No,
I am gonna die? Question mark. No, man. Stop it, Ozan. You're going to be just fine, brother. Hopefully, Tesla can catch a bit of a bid once we start seeing more robo-taxis on the road. I'm starting to see a lot more.
This guy's worried about December calls?
Yeah, those are a minute away. Yeah. Mr. Lonely. I'm so lonely. May God bless you guys.
Oh.
I like you guys. Lots of respect. All of your team members. We love you right back, Mr. Lonely.
Yeah, we love you.
Thank you very much, brother, for the 101 or I don't know what that is. Yeah, I think it's a little bit different on TikTok, right? Because they give coins and then the coins mean something dollar-wise. So thank you so much for that.
No longer lonely if you're here with us.
That's an Akon song, right?
Yeah.
Pretty sure, yes. Okay. All right. Guys, RDAC is kind of back a little bit here. I don't know if it's back, but it's making a move. And it's trying to clear 15. Current bar is actually above 15. But, you know, what concerns me is the continued downtrend on this one. So stop, Adam, bro. You don't have to hate on Arsenal at every turn. Look, when we're competing against you in the Premier League, I get it. Okay, yes. But what? You guys are out of the Champions League. You got whooped by Real. And why do you have to hate on us, man? You know what? I'm not going to cheer for City against Chelsea. I'm going to go blue on that one. Dark blue, that is, not baby blue. Shout out to my man, Adam James abroad. Oh, my God. I digress so quickly. As soon as I see this guy, Vamos, Atletico. We put hands on Atletico earlier this year. 4-1, man. But again, like I said yesterday, we were a little bit of a different team at the time. Completely different team now, Joey, not in a good way. Walt Winchell, 5922, pardon me. Time to jump into BEZ, Bloom Energy short. Not the short.
Yo, what?
Bloom Energy. Oh, well, yeah, it's down 1 1/4 from the bell, but it's up 21.7%. You see your friend FCell?
No. I thought
29.78%. I told you something was going on there with FCell the other day, ripping up. Probably a lot more upside potential for FCell just because it's a small cap kind of name, and it's probably going to rip up here. I could probably take a swing on FCell.
Let's get into Bloom Energy here a little bit. I mean, you're up to 131%, right?
I'm not going to say where I'm from. I don't do
Well, I'm not saying you. I'm saying the stock in general, right? Like, sorry, Sharif. My bad. I didn't get to your exact entry. You know, more or less referring to what we actually have going on here, 128% from that bottom, that March low, where we're currently trading at. I mean, and a big indecision print around this massive gap up. I wouldn't be surprised. It's the exact same thing in AMD that I was talking about the other day. It's just like, okay, cool, you're strong. You're the bee's knees at this point, but at some point, you're going to eventually start to pull back a little bit. So keep an eye out on that Bloom Energy. As strong as you may be, it's the market. You will see some pullback, and I think you will eventually here on Bloom Energy. Let's see if there's a reload opportunity here on the NASDAQ and continue to the south side here, Shane.
RPGL just ripped up. We got a couple of prints there. We're in at 47. I took good size on this one too, guys. Looking for the continuation now to try to take out 162. So initially got in, got stopped out because I and I put my stop too tight. In any event, we're back in. We're looking for a little bit more zigging and zagging here with the $0.50. I'm looking for a bigger continuation print on this name. I'd like to take out some into the high of the day. 54 showing up there. No, there it is again. Let's see if we can kind of liquidity test that. Yeah. Jeez, man. Into 52. Trying to debate whether I should be getting out of this or what. Because it's a topping tail candle, but it held 145 generally pretty good, man. And I don't really want to take it out too quickly here. I think this one might have another shot. What concerns me a little bit, though, is that the current bar high is 158, and that big red candle has a high of 159. So clearly the shorts were setting up on something there. Yeah, that's my look. Los Polos Hermanos, Sharif, bought BE at 224 yesterday on the back of your research and your stake in BE. Sold today, 286 LFG. Boom. Love to hear that, brother. I don't know why, but I like when our viewers make money on the trade. I ain't seen any of that money, but it's very it's a good feeling, man. That's kind of how I feel about that. I got a feeling. JL 822 is in BE at $88. Fantastic trade, brother. Fantastic. And no matter where you're in, as long as you're printing up a storm, I'm very happy for you guys, and I hope you continue to print up more storms, just like this over here. Right, so good look there, Joey. All right, we're doing well here on RPGL as it's trying to work back into that 54, 55 penny high. I'd like ideally a move above 59 so we can clear that red candle. I'm talking about the 1235 candle on the 5. Bovin's in the house.
Uh-oh.
My man Bovin, he's back from work. I know, as soon as Bovin's back from work, I know it's going to be a good time. So shout out to my man Bovin. He's talking about PAPL. Bovin, we've been looking at PAPL all day. You should have seen what this thing did, man. It gapped up. Look, Bovin, look at this. Look at this volume bar right here, Bovin. This volume bar, we were looking at this, 545,000 shares on that 1150 bar. Bovin, look at the one before it, 6,200 shares. And then look at the one after it, 110,000. Now it's dwindling again. But somebody was buying up a storm on PAPL. There goes RPGL into 58. Looking for more. My 1R was 54, so we already got 1R on this one. Showing 57s now. I'd like a high day breach. We're heavily in the money on this one. We took a big position on PAPL. We were very green on it now, even though we did get stopped out initially, but that's not good enough. I want a little bit more. Practice gratitude, as my old man would say. Into 59 it goes. There it goes, Joey. Here comes 60. That 59 seller, that bugger. That bugger. He keeps taking, we can't breach that bar high, the 1235 bar high. So that 159 seller is still there. So we're going to have to keep an eye out on that, but we've taken a good position on it here, looking for a little bit more, Joe. All
right, good stuff. Let's get out of this. We'll trail stop this here on the TQQs and look for a reload, but a nice little move to the downside. We had a scalp. We're just going, okay, long. All right, yeah, you want to sell a little bit, break through some support, and then we flip things short right there. So not too bad. A couple scalps here on the TQQs. Let's see if we can get another curl over, right? We're going to stick with those lower highs. We're starting to get a pullback here in USO. So with that being said, you're starting to see that up move here in the NASDAQ. So let's be patient. Let's head over to our scanner. We went over the options chain. We looked at some expected moves here today, but let's go through our watch list and see what some of the larger names are up to. We're going to kick things off as we typically do on NVDA, cracking through that support, participating with the market moving lower, and you have a low of around 208. I really like this. Like, hopefully we can pull back a little bit more. 200 would be more ideal of an entry or an add for me. At that for NVDA, I want to make this one of my largest holdings here. It is second, so nonetheless, I really like what we got going on in the chips, especially off of this low 65. You grab a cool 26% moving forward. Let's take a look at Apple. Yeah, I mean, not too far off of the, no, I wouldn't really say that, Shreve, man. It's only about 6.5% off of that high. It's only a matter of time until this thing continues to climb. Yeah, it's all right. Well, I know, you see, I know you now, man. So because it's one of your favorite names, you're just like, you're upset with it? It's like me with the Leafs.
It's well, not by far. ASML moved up into number 2 just because
just the appreciation?
Exactly.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it's by far my biggest position. So you're always wanting that big one to make the move,
to move
right?
the best, right? And that's how it is with my team. It's like, oh, bro, Joe, you're such a Leafs hater. No, I just want the best for you. So I just kind of use that reverse style psychology to get you really going. Even though isn't that the case?
Yeah. But like, right? I don't know. I don't think they could hear you, Joey.
Unfortunately, they can't, Sharif, because I would have a whole lot to say. But you have Google also continuing to climb. Microsoft, man, this name, even though we're recovering off the lows,
What happened?
I would just nothing, man. I can't go down that avenue.
You're not gonna
it's not healthy. Yeah, no, just with the Leafs and everything along those lines.
I mean, I'm watching all these Canadian teams. You got the Oilers. You got the Canadians are still in the playoffs, or they get
Montreal Canadiens. Yeah. They're still
How many Canadian teams in the playoffs right now?
Only 2.
Just 2. So Oilers and Canadians. Okay.
Yeah. Well, maybe Buffalo, considering they were singing "Oh Canada."
What?
Yeah. So apparently during the anthem, the mic cut, and then they started singing "Oh Canada."
So it was all Toronto people?
Probably
Niagara and things like that. Yeah, that makes sense. I would. That does.
It's like it really pains me because like when we drafted Austin Matthews, we had William Nylander and everything. Quick spiel.
Yeah.
These guys were supposed to be the core that led us to the promised land. And I'm calling it the lost decade. The Buffalo Sabres haven't made the playoffs for 14 years. Right? 14 years. And they're going to win their first playoff series. It took the Leafs in this core group 7 years to win a playoff series. Right? And these guys right out of the gate were paid like they've won the Stanley Cup, but they can't even win they've only won ever 2 playoff series. 2 or 3.
Do you think it has anything to do with the psychology of playing in Toronto? It's kind of like New York, right? You play for the Knicks, you play for the Yankees, you play for the Rangers or the Islanders or whatever. Like,
what I've come to determine is that like in the game of hockey, it's either you're a dog or you're not. I mean, I don't want to like make it that black and white, but these guys they don't have that grit to them, you know what I mean? And it takes that. You need to be skilled and gritty. And unfortunately, William Nylander, Austin Matthews, and Mitch Marner are neither of those. Highly talented, highly skilled.
Clearly.
Right? But I always take the guy who works harder over the more talented individual.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's just like, you remember that conversation you and I were having? Would you take intelligence or wisdom? Mm-hmm. And I would take wisdom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I think
the experience.
Intelligence is super important, but I think that, and just my observations from just watching some of my friends, you know, they weren't the brightest people, but they had really good commitment and good dedication and discipline. I think, you know, with wisdom comes discipline, right? And I would definitely take that over that. But let me just look into one that's breaking out here. None of them are breaking out, but MXL just lost the bid quite aggressively. So remember we were talking about that $70 basically magnetic effect? Well, it got into 70 and then it got into 71. It didn't print many candles above 70. In fact, only one candle did, and that was a 1235 candle. And here it comes down now into 67.81. So it's losing the bid pretty quick. It's below the 10 EMA on the 5. Let's see if it catches a bid at around 67. 67 would be the 20 EMA. Let's flip to the 15, see what we can gauge from that. All right, so this is an bearish engulfing candle on the 15. We've engulfed the prior green candle, the 1230 candle engulfed by the 1245 candle to the high side and the low side. So this one could see 66 as opposed to 67. That's a 10 EMA on the 15, still up 30.5%. Flip back to the 5, pardon me. Yeah, so I'd like to see what kind of buying, buying steps in between 67 and 66. My first inclination is to chart off the 5 here just because it had so much respect for the 10 EMA on the 5, and you can very clearly see that. There was only one candle that actually wicked below the 10 EMA, and that was 1110 candle, and it very, very quickly got right back above it to close at the high. So one to keep an eye out there. That's MXL. Sorry, guys, I didn't put the what's it called? The thing on the chart. Oh, God. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. He won't let up.
Yeah, he
man.
doesn't.
He doesn't let up. I gotta zoom in on this. Look what he's saying, bro.
Yeah, I just see what he's saying.
His picture. He's always smiling, man. I love this guy. Adam James Abroad dropping 2 in the chat. Arsenal and Leafs, perennial chokers, smash bros. Can I say something? This guy is so well traveled. He knows Toronto nightlife. Like, no one outside that doesn't live in Toronto should know. Like, he knows about the government. He knows about, like, all these different, he knows about
he lived here for 332. He lived here for a bit.
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Shout out to my man Adam there. Buvin is saying BATL is moving into the high of the day. AKAN as well. Buvin, I didn't like what AKAN did over here. Am I negative on AK? I didn't trade. Okay, I didn't trade it, so I never took it. But it's dropping pretty aggressively. I see what you're saying that I've got AKN over here. I tried to get in a couple of times, but it didn't give me the right signals. This is BATL. Buvin calling this out. Obviously, it is moving with oil. Oil is up over 7%. I'm talking about USO. I'm not talking about the CL contract. Neil, what contract are we on CL? Emma? Mary. Thank you, Neil. Appreciate that. So BATL. Generally into area highs above it. It's still below that 830 high, which takes us to 387 high of today officially, 382. Great V-shaped retracement there. But it feels like there was a lot more liquidity on BATL yesterday in the pre-market than at all today. Just take a look at the volume bars there on the left side of your screen versus the volume bars on the right side of the screen. So I'd be more inclined to want to trade USO, but I see what you're saying, Buvin, because this one's just right back into the high of the day again, into 382. So BATL possibly on its horse here. Keep your eye out on that. Separately, I got stopped out of RPGL. Profitable on this trade. It did lose the $0.50, and that's where I earmarked my stop. I didn't want to fight this one into area lows, and as you can see, it is headed right back down. Now, this area here is of import. Why? Because it's that 140 level, and that 140 level not only is the volume weighted average price, but it also is that sort of area support. Take a look at what we've been doing at that 140 level. A lot of wicks and pops back up off 140. So RPGL could be a buy here. You could give it a little risk. Give it to 138. You know, just a momentary breach of VWAP. So you can risk a couple of pennies there on RPGL. Make sure, you know, it jives with your own strategy. But I'm going to keep my eye out on this one. We have Luis Barbado coming in within the next few minutes.
Yeah,
and
let me
go ahead, Joey.
Yeah, let me chime in on this here, because what we have here, Sharif, is your Apple continuing. We say our Apple, the Apple of our eye right now, is continuing to climb $270, going opposite the market. Meanwhile, we have NVDA slide city, so breaking through that support level at 210.40. Boom, off to the races. Oh, okay. I thought you wanted to hit something there. Nonetheless, you good? Oh, all right. So there it is, 210.40, continuing to break these lows. I like this selling. This was a strong day here. Can we retest this 203 level? Can we retest this 203 level and then continue to climb? Look at this pullback. But one thing, I think Neil and I will look at this relatively the same, is that look at the shelf here on Netflix. We don't love these shelves, right? Like, we want to see a little bit cleaner of a pullback here, and then maybe we can continue and climb higher. We are still quite a bit off of those previous highs, 32%. So, but we are classified that we're in bull market territory, Neil, more than 20% off of those 21% to be more precise. Nonetheless, what are you guys looking at? I don't feel like I've asked you guys that in quite some time. We went over our poll not too long ago. Make sure you get those votes in. I might have closed that tab. Let's get that in here one more time. What are we thinking has the largest percentage move here after the bell? We have Google at 1, Amazon 2, Microsoft 3, Meta at 4. If you've already voted, it's not going to count, so we need some new individuals. I can put it in there one more time. We got Suede, Lucid, SanDisk. Yeah, let's pull it over there. Oh, Risky Row. That's crazy. Yeah, that's risky. That's crazy, my guy. That's crazy. Let's take a look at SanDisk, SNDK3, and then SanDisk is tomorrow. Yeah, it's not on that one. So we did come off of that previous high of just around $1,100, a little bit. Yeah, almost to the T there. Now we're trading at $1,076, coming off of that high where we tapped into that marker. 1103 to be exact, and then now there's that support system. You have a couple of dollar drop, but it's still holding up pretty well, right? So we're not going to complain about this whatsoever. How's Oracle been performing on today's session? Ooh, I hear a Dara chuckle there as Oracle. Yeah.
Oh, I guess like 1 week, 2 weeks of upside wasn't enough to save this. No, but like in all seriousness, because I know people in the chat are like, oh, Adara, you don't talk when it's up. I've said before, I don't care if it goes up because I know where it's headed longer term. Ooh. And that's honestly the thing. I know my thesis on this was always fundamental. It remains fundamental. And I look forward to another report in June where Clay McGurrick, who again has a bevy of weird lawsuits against him, makes you wonder why they appointed him, and Mike Cecilia continue to prove why they were kind of questionable CEO choices for Oracle. And stand on business. Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely a tough look in this name. I mean, this guide, I mean, the guidance here, I think when on that Tuesday, September 9th report where we just gap up substantially, it was a forward look a couple of years. So, and then Adara was like, what is going on here? This doesn't even really make sense. And then sure enough, the street catches on. Yeah, exactly. The math was not mathing, as they typically say. So they just guide a crazy amount. Sure enough, you get that gap up. You see the stock just in the post market continuously moving to the point where you're up 30%. And then you're like, hey, what is going on here? Street catches on, and then it's been nothing but selling ever since. And this is something that we're seeing in, I mean, comparing apples to oranges here, but you have this, it's a relief rally. I'm not going to say that the stock is going to fully recover at this point. There's that base at $133. You bounce through that. You climb up to 187, but then it's right back to the downside here in Oracle. So a little bit tougher of a look. We were talking about AMD not too long ago, filling that gap fill. Watch out, man. I mean, we've seen this. What happened? We've seen this thing on multiple occasions where it's just climb, you have those nice runs, and then you start to curl things over. I'm not saying it's the same scenario or the same kind of sentiment that we were in before, but it's far-fast, okay? It's quite a bit in a short period of time. I wouldn't be surprised if we do have a retest of this $271 mark. All right, I think that's going to be a good level that we can gauge. You get that pullback, that's healthy. You bounce off of prior resistance, acts as support, and then maybe you can continue on your merry way. Now, as for Palantir, the software names continuing its slide. I don't even want to look at CrowdStrike right now. Down 33.9%, closer to 34%. So, yeah, a tougher look in Palantir, but big time run. Like, we've seen the growth within the company, and And what really got me into the Robinhood trade is just the growth. And I mean, if we're going to go from stock to stock, you see it, we use Palantir as an example, then you see the growth within Robinhood. But I think what we're seeing it right now is in names like Bloom Energy, right? Triple-digit growth across the board year over year. So not too bad of a look. I have a feeling like you're trying to cue something up right now.
No, brother, I was just reading something.
Okay, I never know with you sometimes, man. Anyway, SanDisk, same thing. We were just going over that one. What happened? Webull, some people are saying they're liking Webull a little bit more now. Almost a double off of those lows, 71%. So not too bad of a look in Webull.
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing because Adam James Abroad. He's coming at you, Joey. All right, shout out to my man, Adam. Adam, throw in the chat. No, but in all seriousness, Adam, what do you think it ends up being today? Because, dude, can I tell you something?
Sorry about that, Miss Skash. Yeah, tell me something.
Champions League semifinal, first leg yesterday.
Yeah.
Who was playing? Paris Saint-Germain.
PSG.
And Bayern Munich.
Okay.
Joey, guess the score.
2-0.
Keep going, baby.
4-0.
Keep going.
6-0.
No, there was both teams scored.
Oh, okay. 5-2.
Pretty close. 5-4.
Oh.
It was 9 goals yesterday.
Oh, that's a lot for soccer.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah,
for soccer.
Yeah.
I think that it's going to be a snoozer today, Arsenal and Atletico, because we all already know Simeone, super defensive. That's his nature, right? Arteta, probably going to be defensive given that we can't score for our life. So I think that it's probably going to be 1-0, 1-1, 2-1 max. It's not going to be anything like yesterday.
Yeah.
But
I have to go over this for our friend Miss Cash. Sorry.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we're gonna do this for you, Joe. I've been asking since the morning. Can you please look into gold? Absolutely. We apologize if we missed it. We don't do that intentionally. Okay? Never. Continuous downtrend. I mean, we got to talk about this run since August. Gold up 69% from $300. Obviously, GLD here, this ETF up to 510. You have a support level, but it's been consistent lower highs in GLD. And the exact same thing with SLV. We'll pop back into gold momentarily, but we go on this big time run up to $110. This was all fun and games, right? Like, this is the example that I'm using. A lot of the technical analysis can fall in the same boat for different sectors and just like completely different names. So what we have is, boom, a big time run where you almost double. You go up 100% plus, 150%. And then after you go on that run where you have these crazy events and volumes start to step in, you've yet to see participants step in and really start to climb things higher. So all that excitement is thrown out the window after a couple of maybe larger funds, institutions, and even retail traders take bigger hits. They're like, okay, let's start to cool things down. And I think that's the narrative. We didn't necessarily see it in gold like we've seen it in silver, but what we do have is consistent lower highs. What we want to wait for is a break of this trend, and we can sit on the backside of it. But it's going to take some time, I think, in my opinion. It was just on fire for so long, for over a multi-year bull run here in GLD. So wait for it. I wouldn't be surprised if you come into this pivot. This looks like a potential target, $400, right? 417. A couple of bad sessions, and you're running into that neck of the woods.
All right, I'm just going to read this Apple headline here because Adara gave this to us a while back, but here are the details on it. Let's take a quick read. Apple plans to add artificial intelligence. I can read, I promise. Features to its iOS 27 operating system, including a Siri mode inside its camera app, along with other new AI visual features. Bloomberg is reporting it. The company's visual intelligence features will be located within the camera app. The report said it will appear as a new toggle option. The updates are part of Apple's broader efforts to incorporate AI and will likely be revealed at the WWDC in June. These updates to Apple's visual intelligence capabilities will likely play a role in the new devices the company is reportedly working on, such as smart glasses and a pendant. I don't know how I feel about this pendant thing here. They will allow Siri to scan environments and provide details back to the user. Apple's also developing an updated version of its Photos app. These include new AI-powered tools for editing and enhancing images. A report said these will likely be ready for the release of the iPhone 18 series when released in September. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a little bit more with respect to details on what it's going to be able to do, but I wanna show this as well, because what leaked the other day is the dimensions of the iPhone Fold. I'm gonna pull it up here. So I'm gonna send it to you, Joey, just because you know, I don't know how to do the whole thing. And then if you can pull it up on, okay, 1 second, Assassino. Where are you here, Joey? There you are. I'm gonna send it to you. We'll show this one after because Luis is here.
Yeah.
And then we have to start the new segment as soon as we're done with Luis with CS. So let's bring in Luis Assassino. How's he doing today? Hey, there's the man.
There you go.
How are you, brother? How's everything?
You start talking about soccer, and I was not there. Right? Barcelona fan has to be there if you're talking about soccer. And by the way, we saw probably one of the best matches in the history of Champions League yesterday.
What a match, Luis. Unbelievable. Luis, give me your honest opinion about Michael Olise.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It has so much technique, and it's so athletic, so elegant. It's like dancing in the ice, you know? It's unbelievable play.
I have no idea what Crystal Palace was thinking selling him. I would have loved to see him in the Premier League, obviously. Luis, Barcelona fan or Espanyol fan?
Oh, come on, Barcelona.
Hey, there's that guy.
Give me some respect.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you never know. You know, you got to go with both cities there.
Some respect on his name.
You know Lamine Yamal, obviously. You always talk about Lamine Yamal. Unbelievable talent. I'd say he's very similar to Olise in kind of style. They're both very tricky, very hard to cover. You know what I mean? I love watching that. All right, Luis, let's get down to work. What's the weather like?
Yep. Ooh. The weather's cool. It's cool. Nearly summer here. It's around 22 or something like that, I guess.
All right, Luis, what were you looking at today? How'd the trades go? Take us through it.
Was very quiet day, very slow day, as we forecast pre-market with Brendan. We had, as always, something to trade in the open and the pre-market, but then it became very quiet. Pre-market, we talk about this stock. Look, JCTK. Okay, and we were talking with Brendan about the history of pump and dump. Look at this. It's all the way up from 6 to 14, all the way down, and again, and again, and again, and again. So if we narrow it down to last weeks, we also have 3 days. Look at this. It's going up all the way down once the market is open, again and again. So today, pre-market, we were talking about this with Brendan. We shorted this here in the 20s for resistance. Try it again here and all the way down. Easy trade, easy setup here. I don't know if you traded this, but it was very easy to short this one.
That's actually quite interesting. Were the locates expensive on that?
No, very cheap. Even, I don't know, it's free or very cheap. Yeah.
Okay. I want to show you another one here, Luis. I think you're probably going to really like. SAGT, I don't know if you had eyes on this one. Yeah, I figured you probably definitely.
That's I was loading the chart here. Look, we also talk about this pre-market, and it was a kind of conflict between long bias and short bias traders. Short bias traders were shorting this big time here to 60 to 70s because we go like 1 hour, I think. Yeah, there you go. You have this resistance. So there is a, let's call a strategy called short into resistance. You're shorting this here into this resistance area. But it's also true that it's a moment where long bias like to look for this breakout, right? There was a lot of volume here. If we would do the volume profile, it was a lot of volume here with this fight, shorts against long bias traders. Since we are trading above VWAP and above almost pre-market highs and highs of other days, I was not shorting this one. It was a very tricky moment to short. Or if you short here, you have to be very, very disciplined with the stop over the pre-market highs. Once it opened, the history changed. You see this squeeze candle here. And once you look at the volume here, volume is, let me check here, is 500,000 shares here in this candle. All the shorts are squeezed out here, and then we are ready for the shorts, losing VWAP, losing supports, and all the way down. So
let me ask you something about that, Luis. So zoom in again on that, because that's a great look that you have there. So that looks like a double top almost, right? Overlapping between the pre-market and the open. So for you, what's your entry short there? Because I'm thinking double top. I'm looking for neckline break in and around. It looks to be maybe 285, give or take around there. What's your look there?
Yeah, it's up to you and depends where you want to place the stop. You don't go short here front side because it's breaking pre-market highs, but that was clear. The short is here with the stop here, and once it fails and you are a stop out, you can retry on the first red candle. You can look maybe 5-minute candle. You look a lot the 5-minute candle. So if you're looking the hold on, there you go. The first 5-minute candle, I know you like that, you're short here, right? We're looking always, most of the time, 1-minute candle. So you short this once it fails the high or when it breaks some levels here. You have the stop very tight. And once it go down, you can, yes, hold it. Or if you are brave enough and you are confident enough in the trade, you can add to the position. You can pyramid the position when it starts to work below VWAP. You can add here, you can add more on the pops and all the way down.
I want to ask you, just before we go to Joey, I want to ask you here about XTLB. So this is one that I was looking at taking long, Luis. And the reason I was interested in it, I felt that it was putting in an ascending wedge pattern. So essentially starting at around 945, 940, we started putting in higher lows. And what I noticed was there was a lot of resistance at 4. Because there was a lot of topping tails through 4 and very few closing prints above that $4 level. Guys, RDAC is going to halt up right now, guys, just to point that out. RDAC is going to halt up right now. It's ripping up 250%. But to go back to this one, Luis, so it failed. It failed 4 and it dropped below VWAP. So I started thinking about this one as a possible short. What I'm noticing is that these ones that straddle VWAP a little above, a little bit below, they can be quite bamboozling. Is there something that you could point to with this XTLB to say, Sharif, this is why XTLB was not a good short setup and it's more consolidative? Because I had trouble with this one.
Yeah, actually, and I'm going to show you here my execution. It was more about long bias here. And I'm a short bias trader, but this one, I'm going to show you, we took some longs there because first you have the resistance here for 40, for 50s. And if it would have break here, you might go to $5, $6, $7, who knows, right? And the consolidation was very tight. I think it was very nice, too long here over the VWAP, around the VWAP, waiting this 420 to break, but it didn't break. A lower volume every time, but look, we might have here what we call a VWAP reclaim. Why? The volume is drained. It's almost no volume anymore, but the price is holding pretty nice VWAP. So if it keeps holding 8, 9, maybe if the volume start to appear again and we break this, we might see a VWAP reclaim. Look at this. We had it yesterday on Ether. Same feeling. Look at this. You see the volume goes up a lot. It goes down, trading around VWAP without volume, but holding price pretty nicely. And in the end of the day, look at this, from 120 to 190. So it is in the odds that XTLB will do it. And look, I'm going to show you my execution chart to prove that sometimes, very seldom, I go long as well. Hold on. It's here. And you will see that I took some longs there right where you like.
Nice,
see, I was long in here, waiting this 420 to break, but it didn't break. So I just stop it out and waiting patiently until the VWAP reclaim and the volume appears over 420s.
Fantastic stuff. Luis, how's it going? I want to pull our conversation over to AIXI. You and I have talked about this name before, and it had a couple of sessions where it was extremely strong. It was in play. It has 123 million shares traded here today. But what I've noticed over the past couple of weeks, this thing is essentially not performing like it was before. Is that something typical? And as I go through more charts, it seems to be the narrative that you have a couple of strong sessions, and then some of these small caps are kicked to the curb. What do you think about that?
Yeah. We shorted, I didn't, but traders here in the room, they shorted here around 115, I think it was. Let me hold on in 1 minute, 3 minutes. There. They shorted there because they had some small resistance here, as you can see, 120s, 130s. Okay, what I didn't like this is that we have a very active movement a few days ago, a couple of weeks ago, and we have seen a retracement. And what if start to goes up without a lot of volume. Now it's 120 million, but it's below $1 when it traded a lot of volume. So what if it breaks this 120, 130? The resistance are very, very far. So I avoided this ticker, but I have to say it was a nice short right when it broke $1 with previous resistance here, 115, 120, 125 maximum.
Yeah, so is that something that you're looking for? Is like, okay, we were extremely in play, and you talk about all the time how from a probability standpoint, a lot of them tend to come back. So when you see a name like AIXI, it has a fundamental catalyst, they win a lawsuit, and so on, but then weeks later, it's just like, okay, this stock is essentially not doing anything. We've peaked around that $3 mark. Let's just continuously fade some of these names day after day.
Yeah, listen, very, very few tickers hold during the days and weeks. Very, very few. I would say like 5% of them only hold. And that's because there is something very serious behind, fundamentals, economic, big agreements with other companies and so on. So most of them we will fail. It will go down in 1 day, 2, 3, or 4 days. So we sometimes look for these big rebounds on let's say supports here after 2 or 3 days going down, rebounds, but the stock is destroyed and it will go down to zero probably. You go daily, look at this. It goes to zero. No matter how much, it will go up some days, but you have reverse splits and everything. So the stocks, most of these stocks, they worth zero.
Yeah, so I'm going to kind of use this as a benchmark here. Like CAR, we've seen that squeeze. Once some of these names squeeze, they have those couple of sessions. It's just like the chances of it. You have the shorts all stopped out essentially, and then eventually it just tends to cool down dramatically, and the ATR really starts to compress.
Yeah, I'm going to show you today my stupid trade on CAR. I'm very proud of the entry. The exit was a disgrace. Look at this. I bought here 147 pre-market because I thought, you know what, this is coming from 800. We have some earnings. I couldn't get that bad anymore. I was buying here. I wanted to buy a second lot here, a second entry here. It didn't get filled because the movement and the volatility and the spread was huge. And look at this. Shit exit on 156, something like that.
Yeah.
It was 184. The thesis was good. The execution was really miserable.
Yeah, that rug pull on CAR was absolutely insane, like dropping $800. We were talking about it before, and it was free locates. At some point, didn't it turn to pay for locates? And were they extremely? How expensive were they? And was it even worth it to even buy those?
We're very cheap. We're very cheap. Usually with the big companies with high institutional ownership, it's okay to locate. It was not very expensive, and if you take into account the amount of dollars that it could go up or down, it doesn't matter how much it costs because it was the risk. Absolutely.
Yeah, and with that being said, so it's like, okay, we have the volatility within this name is absolutely insane. You drop $800 in the span of a couple of sessions. I thought personally, like, hey, the locates would be more expensive just due to the increase in implied volatility. But as you just mentioned, it doesn't seem to be the narrative. It
doesn't matter. The only problem here is that minimum locates is 100 shares. That's the only problem.
Doesn't mean you have to use them, though.
You don't have to use them, but you have to pay them. So if you pay per 100 shares, let's say it costs a couple of dollars per share, which is nothing. If you are trading $800 ticker, it's going to go down $100, $200. So you're paying only $1 or $2 per share. If you are locating 100, you're paying $200. It's okay if you trade a little bit bigger, but if you're going to trade 20 shares, you have to make $20 to make it back. So it's all about numbers.
Absolutely fantastic stuff. Thank you very much.
All right, Luis, fantastic stuff. Thank you for coming on. Always very, very insightful, guys. And if you guys don't know already, Luis is part of A-Day Trading. They're a Barcelona prop firm. If you're in the area, if you're interested in speaking with him, if you're interested in speaking about small caps, reach out to him. The name of the company is right there. He's also always in the chat with the same name, and we can't thank him enough for joining us and also being very active in the chat. Sometimes he's calling out great levels.
He is calling out.
So,
he is calling
live in real time as well.
Calls it as he sees it, man.
Exactly. Right? Great.
Thank you, guys. And
thank you for coming on, Luis.
Are you going to stop trading towards your arsenal? Or?
I'm not going to the gym, Luis. I'm going straight home immediately to watch Arsenal lose. lose probably 2-1, 1-0 or something like that against Atletico. Did you see what we did to them, though, in the beginning of the year during the group phase? We beat them up pretty bad, 4-1. And Simeone was
but listen, Atletico is a different team when they play
Champions
playoffs.
League.
It's a different. In the league, we also beat them up, and suddenly they kick us out. So it's totally different team. The competitive, the psychology is totally different when they're playing playoffs.
I'm a big fan of Diego Simeone as well. Very, very passionate person. Good player as well. Good defenseman. Thank you for coming on, Luis. Always a pleasure to see you. See you next week.
Thank you very much, guys.
Take care. Great guy, man.
Yeah, great
fantastic guy. Obviously, great trader as well. Love having him on. See ya. It's 1:23. Ready to go?
Let's start the news segment for today. The EU Commission has primarily found Meta in breach of the DSA, which is Digital Services Act, over child safety controls, where Meta has failed, as per the European Commission's press release earlier this morning, diligently identify, assess, and mitigate the risks of minors under 13 years old accessing their services. So we've seen this with Meta before, the concerns over mental health and about children being able to access social media platforms. We saw that case in New Mexico that also took place. Now, the key issue here is the failure to effectively prevent users from under the age of 13 from accessing Instagram and Facebook, despite the stated policies. And EU has said that Meta's risk assessment and mitigation framework is inadequate as per the new release, and the company must overhaul its methodology. Potential penalties of this outcome will be fines of 6% of Meta's global revenue, which is a big hit if you look at it, and the ongoing compliance penalties that will be taking place as well. And as per the EU Commission's press release, again, Meta's tool for reporting minors under the age of 13 on the platform is difficult to use and not effective. With this, the regulatory overhang returns for Meta, especially in Europe, and it raises compliance costs in addition with the ad and product constraints that are potential ad and product constraints that the company has, but Meta currently trading flat on the day.
Okay, so I have many things to say here. The first and the foremost is this failure to prevent access kind of headline under the DSA. This is typically applied to porn sites like Pornhub and whatever. This one says Strip Chat. This was never applied to a social media company. So it kind of groups Meta in, in a different category. Also, to build on Sia's point where she was saying it's made very difficult to cancel. So they're calling this the 7 clicks friction audit. So it actually, the commission found that it took a user exactly 7 clicks to report an underage minor, right? Once they found that account there. And then there's also this phantom account loophole where even though a minor's account could be suspended or whatever, they found that they were able to continue using the service without any follow-up verification. Then last, there was actually a Meta internal study that did, well, you could classify it as corporate research, I guess. The commission explicitly stated that Meta's internal risk assessments were arbitrary because they ignored Meta's own internal data showing that about 10 to 12%, give or take, of their EU base is likely under the age of 13. So they dismissed that outright, which is kind of rare for the commission to do that, according to the report. So a lot of different aspects to this. I don't know if it's going to be that bad for business, though, to have individuals under the age of 13 from being prevented to use social media. I feel like, sure, there are advertisers that do target that category of individuals or that category or that age range, I should say. But I think the majority of people would want to target people a little bit older because they typically have the buying power. You can't really assume individuals under the age of 13 have that much buying power other than, of course, soliciting their parents to do it on their behalf.
Yeah, absolutely. I heard you talking about just the protection essentially for minors. I mean, I brought up the fact that I was watching this documentary and just the grade in which is set from a priority standpoint, and some of these child accounts were putting on the lower end of things, and they were protecting political face first, which was a big issue for Meta. And sure enough, the EU's not liking it. You see in Australia as well, you're starting to see a ban and an age limit in which you can actually start to participate on some of these social media platforms. I think you're going to start to see that a little across the board here. You can see Meta running into troubles, obviously, in North America as well, too, with multiple lawsuits, one starting in California. So, I mean, hey, you might see a little bit of a change. And a lot of people were comparing this, Sharif, to the tobacco moment, right? Like, I don't know if it's necessarily the same scale, but I remember when I was a kid smoking. I wasn't personally, but adult smoking. But now, are we going to start to step in and be like, hey, is there a specific age limit, just like you need a driver's license and other things in order for you to start participating on some of these social media platforms, just due to the fact that a lot of people have access to these things and they're not really worried about what some of the miners have to say?
Fabian, are you playing around with the colors, brother? Get it, Fabian. I knew that you were doing that. All right, let's look at the trade plan here, Joey. Let's see if anything came in on the trade plan today. So the trade setup for intraday says, okay, let me zoom in so you guys can see it a little bit clearer here. Range trade, buy near 660 to 665. I can speak, I promise. Sell near 680. Well, it didn't come in, but that 665 definitely came in. It didn't quite make it down to 660. The low of the day is 663.90. So if you're buying at 665, best you could have done is 674. 680 definitely didn't come in. And the break above 680, obviously that didn't happen either. Momentum long towards 697, or the loss of 660 short to 650. That didn't come in either. So the first one, the range trade buy between 660 and 665, that one printed. You would have probably done pretty well. You wouldn't have got 680 though, because it didn't even get close to 675. The best it did was about 674 on the day. It's flat. It reports earnings after the bell. And if you believe the options traders and the options market, this one has the highest implied volatility of the 4 Mag 7 today that's reporting. So make sure you're with us, because this one's probably going to be moving after the bell. See ya.
Robinhood is the next story. So Robinhood has missed on its earnings with an EPS of 38 cents versus 39 cents that was estimated. Revenue currently stands at $1.07 billion versus analyst estimates of $1.14 billion. Crypto revenue has plunged 47% year over year to $134 million. This is a major strain on the core business of Robinhood. And options revenue has plummeted 20% quarter on quarter. This shows a slowdown in trading engagement, and gold subscribers has increased 36% year over year to 3 million, and the revenue for the segment currently stands at $50 million. Prediction markets are gaining traction, therefore. The transaction revenue is up 320% to $147 million. There is a tailwind from Super Bowl here, and assets under management have also reached $1.6 billion plus in strategies, but they're still small versus its trading revenue base. Hood has also announced a $100 million investment to build and develop Trump accounts through the rest of 2026, expanding what is expected to be a long-term commitment to this. Now, currently, Hood down on the day, 14.2%.
I just have to digress here. RDAC just ripped up to 2170. It was halted up, and now it's going to halt down. 1771 from 21 and change. This one is all over the map, guys. 2171 high. It's going to halt at the bar low here, which is 1771. RDAC all over the map. It was just up 325%. Now it's back down to 261. Keep your eye out on that. So I have several things to say here about Robinhood. The first one, they boasted, right, about their gold members, whatever their gold member. That made me laugh. Their gold members or whatever increasing year over year. What was the increase? 36%. That's great, right? Good increase there. However, Joey, the average revenue per user within that gold member actually declined. And this is suggesting that new subscribers are actually joining for the match incentive, like that 3% IRA that they're offering, but aren't actually trading using margin, making them low value. So even though that number is growing pretty nice, they're not able to monetize them in the way that one probably assumes they intended. Second thing, 24-hour market liquidity strain. What do I mean by that? So as Robinhood is kind of scaling that 24-hour market that we've been talking a lot about, the cost of maintaining liquidity overnight, especially during the recent volatility, of course, with things happening in the Middle East, that squeezed transaction rebates, and it's a hidden drag basically on their NII, their net interest income, something to keep an eye out there. And then there's obviously the crypto concentration risk. We've been talking about that. A massive portion of their crypto revenue growth came this quarter from just 3 meme stocks. Regulators have already talked about these what do they call them? Non-utility tokens, possibly, you know, catching the ire of the regulator. So we'll have to see if that's another revenue stream for them that dries up. I'm not saying it will. And what's the other here? Yeah, that's basically it. There's a couple of other points that are not as important, but I think that, you know, there's good in this. I'm not trying to hate on Robinhood here. And I know you're a big fan of Vlatanov as well as you should be. Good guy. But there are, you know, some headwinds, I think, for the hooded one.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you, right? I mean, regardless if I like the stock or not, the numbers aren't going to lie. And I think the big blemish here, Sharif, is obviously the 47% to the downside here in crypto transactions and revenue, right? That's the major thing that we're looking at. And I think the street obviously not liking that. You're down 11+% off of those lows. But sure enough, there is some signs of positivity. Are we growing at the clip rate that we were a couple of quarters ago? Absolutely not. Is that type of growth hard to be sustained? For sure. And so I've seen some people in the chat saying, well, we have what we have from the PDT rule already priced in, but we haven't received any of those numbers yet, okay? So we have to wait a couple more quarters to see if that's actually going to be a factor and implemented into a name like Robinhood. But let's not toss aside the fact that other transaction revenue, prediction markets, up 320% year over year at 147 million. Okay, that's triple-digit growth. We have options revenue, 260 million. That's 8%. Is it growing at the rate that it was before? No, but it's still growing at 8%, almost double digits. Equities revenue, $82 million, 46% year over year. But the major blemish obviously being the fact that the crypto transaction and revenue is down 47%. Nonetheless, they're still adding more people, 36% growing in gold memberships, okay? So they're still adding and they're still growing. So that's why I'm going to remain liking this stock until you start to hit that single-digit growth across the board, which I don't think is necessarily going to be the nature in the coming quarters is due to the PDT rule. It's just that one thing and the street's not liking. One thing can sometimes outweigh the other, and I think that's kind of the coupling that we have between Bitcoin and Robinhood right now.
I agree. Let's take a look at the TA here. So what's Hood down on the day? It's down 14%. It's a tough day for them. We're not trying to kick them one down, but let's look at what the intraday setup said here on the morning note. Fade the pops into 75 to 78 resistance zone. Did we get any fade the pops into 75, 78? Not during regular trading hours. The best we got there was 73.55. So the other trade, break below 72, continuation short towards 70 or 68. That one came in, and it came in spades. If you waited for that 72 short, just look at where we're at the low of the day, $70.17 LOD. So that one, the break below 72, that would have been the trade you should have been looking at there. And then the third there was the reclaim of 80 with volume. That didn't even come close. I think basically that was in the aftermarket yesterday, so that wouldn't even been a play today. So the morning note comes up with a good one here. The break below 72, I think the fade the pops was the right idea, but it didn't quite make it into the level that the note was suggesting. But I like how it was thinking that. So Hood, tough day for Hood. See ya. What do we got next?
Talking about SOFI's revenue beat next. So SOFI has reported first quarter revenue of $1.1 billion, above the consensus of $1.05 billion. Members have grown 35%. Products have increased 39%. And 43% of new products have come in from existing members. CEO Anthony Noto has framed the quarter as a durable growth with stronger cross-sell and compounding returns. Fundamentals are looking solid, but the chart is... You have it right there, reacting poorly. That's the key lookout here, I would say. SOFI currently down on the day, almost 14%.
A couple of things. Remember that Technisys or whatever they were calling it, that new technology platform that they were trying to espouse? They even went so far as to call it the AWS of fintech. That actually saw a surprising deceleration in new partner integrations. And that's really suggestive of bigger financial institutions trying to go at it themselves rather than trying to go through these new fintech companies or these DeFi companies. They see where the winds are blowing, and they're basically trying to do it themselves. And that obviously hurts SOFI a little bit. The other one I want to say is this kind of held for investment pivot. What do I mean by that? So SOFI, bless you, Neil, is basically holding a larger percentage of its personal loans on its own balance sheets rather than, you know what, a lot of these financiers do. they initiate the loans, they make a buck or two off NII, and then they sell it to somebody else for whatever on the dollar, right? And then basically just take the money and run. They're actually holding it themselves. So the market here is gauging that if the job market turns, and we've already seen a little bit of weakness in the job market, this could hurt them, because then you could have either one, more money in, what would they call that? Loan loss provisions, or you actually see defaults, in which case neither is good. And then the match incentive. This is the same thing that I said with Robinhood. So similar to Robinhood, SoFi spent heavily, about 1 to 3%, basically transfer bonuses for people who are bringing in their money, say from Fidelity or Schwab or IB. And basically what it's showing is, yeah, people are coming in and they're taking that 1 to 3%, but they're not spending on margin. They're not actually generating money for the company, and the company is actually paying 1 to 3%. To these guys, and then they're not seeing anything in exchange for it. So there's always that kind of concern, Joey, when you have these type of promotions to bring in new users. The concern is, all right, we got the user here. How can we monetize them if we monetize them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that's a fair enough question. I think SoFi is falling in the same realm of Robinhood, unfortunately. Some of these fintech names aren't getting any love. And I mean, Sharif, if we're going to talk about 14.7 million members across the board, right? Adding above estimates, 800,000, they come in at 1 million. You're seeing double-digit growth here. I mean, things doubling, EPS up 100%, revenue up 41%, but the street still not liking it. It's a tough call, because those numbers are where you want to see them. It's the guidance that I think really hurt this name. So Q2 guide coming in a little bit below analyst estimates, and sure enough, you're going to see a stock that has been down and cut in half over the past couple of months continue to move lower. And I think a lot of it has to do with sector performance. And I go back to the fintech names. Even the bank's not even performing that well. It's the tech trade. It's the chip name right now. Will these companies rebound? I believe so, because you don't add 1 million new customers, you don't have 100% EPS growth, and you don't grow 41% in revenue year over year and then not see a little bit better of a performance in the name. I just think that the all-around fintech kind of movement is really cool right now, and it's not what we've seen it a couple of months ago or even last year.
It's actually a great point. All right, Pershing Square, the IPO, is now showing a top of 39.50. This is on the NYSE, by the way, okay? Pershing Square, PSUS. This is Ackman's IPO, I believe. Is it PSUS? Pershing Ackman Square, yeah. So it is the NYSE showing a top of 39.50 right now. Neil, what was the IPO range there in the IPO phase, please? There was 2 pieces to it, okay. It's tricky, okay, so I'll get you guys that in a second. But PSUS, there is PSUS and PS. Thank you for that. So there's 2 according, yes, you're right, Pershing Square and Pershing Square USA. So just Pershing Square is PS, and then if you want the USA one, it's PSUS. So there's 2 IPOs. This is PSUS, let's see PS, showing a top of 18.50. Okay, great. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Let's talk a little technicals here for SoFi, because the morning note got this perfectly, Joseph. I want you to have a look at this. I'm going to throw on the ticker here. Look what the first thing says. Breakdown short below 1650. Target 16 to 1575. Look at the flat bottom break right there, 1650. How many times did that get defended? So 1650, absolutely on the money. And then what was the target? 16 to 1575. Joey, take a quick look there. What's the low of the day?
My eyes itchy right now.
Look at that. 1570 on the dot. The morning note got this spot on SOFI. I hope somebody took that trade, see.
I want to hold on before. Yeah, I just want to touch on this a little bit more. Don't forget, we have SoFi adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet as well too, right? So how much does that have to come into play?
That's a great question.
Right?
I'm assuming when Bitcoin pops up a bit, it's definitely going to be a bigger factor.
I mean,
yep.
Hey.
Sharif, CDO stuff, they would buy it for 102 and sell it at 98. Yeah, isn't that how they always do, right? Exactly. Shout out to Save Man Woman, he gets it. All right, Sia, what do we got next?
Now, I did talk about Bloom Energy earlier in the day, but we're going to take a closer look into its earnings. Very close look into earnings. In the earnings calls yesterday, I did hear quite a lot of interesting details that I'm going to mention now. BE has posted a major beat and raised guidance, all driven by AI data center demand. EPS is coming at 44 cents versus 12 cents that was estimated, which is a 266% beat. And revenue of $751 million versus $539 million estimated, which is a 39% increase beat. Revenue has surged 130.4% year over year, which highlights the explosive demand for its known solid oxide fuel cells. BE has increased the FY first year revenue guidance to $3.4 billion to $3.8 billion, between that range from $3.1 to $3.3 billion. First year EPS outlook is to a range of $1.85 to $2.25 versus prior range of $1.33 to $1.48. There's a major profitability and AI inflection, just like I highlighted in the beginning earlier today. Total cash on hand currently stands at $2.52 billion for this quarter, as mentioned in the call yesterday by CFO Simon Edwards. One thing that stood out to me on the call yesterday was that CEO of the company, K.R. Sridhar, said that the earnings and the AI power demand is simply escalating, which is the primary reason for the company's hyper growth currently. Now, analyst comments too: outperformed by RBC Capital, equal weight by Wells Fargo, and buy by BTIG. I personally, you know my position on this stock. I love it. Anyways, the stock up on the day, 23.13%.
Very pleased to hear that, Sia. Very, very pleased to hear that. Obviously, be one of my winners here. Guys, I have a couple of things that I want to talk about. So the media really kind of focused on their partnership with Oracle as the backup power generator, but they said very little about Project Jupiter. And basically that shifts them from being the backup power source to the primary power source, and that's independent, the grid independent utility for tier 4 AI data centers. Is the other thing that I want to talk about. Their service business used to actually be a drag on their margins. They weren't able to actually make money off this. They were spending more money on servicing a lot of their generators than they were on selling them. But listen to this. Their margins in service last year, 4.8%. Joey, 18% from 4.8 to 18. That's a big margin expansion there on services. You like to see a multi-source stream, not just selling gas generators, fuel cell generators, but actually servicing these bad ones.
I mean, and like we've just went over a couple of names where we just seen exponential growth, and we could just change that over to a different sector, and that's going to be Bloom Energy. Like, you have triple-digit growth across the board here. Quarterly revenue up 208%. Total revenue grew up 130% year over year. And regardless of what the name is, when you have companies like this going through these growth cycles, the streets like it. And guess what? What really drove this right now is the guidance, Sharif. The guidance was really well. They're increasing that above analyst estimates. So when you have a name like Bloom Energy, regardless if it's the Robinhoods, the SOFIs, or whatever it may be, the Palantirs, when you go through these growth cycles, you just switch over into a different sector that's going to be in vogue. We have this AI build out. And sure enough, you're going to see the picks and shovels of that. The thing that's going to be running the operation is that Bloom Energy. And that's why you can see this growth step into these names. And I think it's going to continue on that path for quite some time.
Joey, see what time it is?
Oh, yeah. Are we doing that?
Yeah. So if you're a newer viewer, on the days where we have the FOMC meeting, the Wednesday, not the Tuesday, obviously, we throw over to the big boys, Neil and Sean, about 15 minutes early. They go through things, exactly kind of what to expect, how the market, just market reactions, and how to adjust for that and plan for that and everything like that. So we're gonna send you over to the big boys. Thank you, Sia. A bit of a short segment today, but we had Luis on Wednesdays, and that's always a bit shorter there.
That's all right. It was great.
Thank you, Sia, for that. All right. Shout out to Luis is calling XTLB, guys. Luis just called out XTLB, so maybe we can just quickly look at that one before we send it over to the big boys. See what he's saying. XTLB. Is that the one that I was at? Oh my Lanta, as Joseph would say. I was asking Assassino. I was asking Luis about this one short. This one just rocketed it up into 487. That gives it a new high of day, guys. XTLB up 90%. And that's well off the 487. That's 50 pennies off that high. Be careful trading this one. As you can see, it's got a lot of topping till candles, and that doesn't happen by accident. So keep your eye out on that. Joey, anything you want to leave him with?
No, let's look forward to JP's final words here, isn't it? So yeah, I'm looking forward to see what he has to say, what the market's going to do.
I'm gonna miss him.
Are you?
Yeah, I am, man. I haven't known a market since I've been in the market without Jerome Powell. I haven't known a market without him.
But Sharif, we're just data dependent, though.
Yeah, I think that's everybody's favorite line from him, right?
Yeah, so.
Yeah, well, he's doing his job, man. Yeah, he's doing his job. I think he could have definitely done some things better. But
that's hindsight, though, right?
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, when you look things back.
I'm not going to hate on him. I know President Trump hates on him.
Yeah.
Calls him too late and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I think he is too late. Yeah, he is. But you don't have to crap on him all the time, right?
Not necessarily strategic, but more or less data dependent. JP, nonetheless, Mr. Transitory, absolutely. Nonetheless, guys. All right, let's do this thing. Guys, be patient. A lot of that volatility. Stephanie's going to be talking around 2:30. Ooh, okay. All right, then. So be patient. Allow things to settle down a little bit, and sure enough, you'll be able to find some opportunities post that. So looking forward to some things.
Peace. I should have done